All right, and live on YouTube this morning. Shabbat Shalom to everyone as we get started. Oh, internet connection get going. Okay. A little lagging behind, so let me get going on the radio. Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and welcome to Just a Word Radio. This morning, our Shabbat teaching will begin in a few. Okay, this is Kazak Aluah Yasharal, and I just want to welcome you all to our teaching this morning, the Yasharal of Aluah versus the church, why you must be in a set-apart assembly at this time. Let me get this thing going. Need to get this edited. Yeah, I want to welcome one and all those on YouTube and those who are here with us and those who will be watching afterwards. Just need to do a little bit of housekeeping before we begin. Oh, this browser is so slow. And yeah, and a reminder as well that all right, let me get this thing. Okay, so let me go back. Okay. Where am I now? Okay, yes. So finally got those things done. This is Kazak Aluah Yasharal. Welcome to our teaching once again as we are about to get going. Every time I'm about to start, I see something else crop up. What's happening here? Oh. Let me get this thing going. All right. Okay, let me get this thing pinned. Got it. Got to pin this. Okay. Should have pinned it before. All right. All right. The end time Yasharal of Aluah versus the quote-unquote church. Why we must be in a set-apart assembly today, not in a church. All right. And of course, we had looked before at what we call the great church deception. This will be looking at it from another angle, which is looking at what we as believers should be doing today in our awakening and at this particular time as we see prophecies unfolding. Because most believers who end up finding out that, let me get this thing going up. Yeah, who end up finding out that Christianity is wrong, church is false, we end up just quitting everything, quitting assemblies, being by ourselves, and not really taking time to figure out what the scriptures require of us and what it is saying. So today we're going to look at that and see what is required of us as in terms of gathering together. And as I just spoke about Christianity and church, church is the nemesis, the direct opposite, direct rebellion of the way of the Most High. Christianity, of course, is Satan's religion, and church is Satan's organization to put up an opposition to get the whole world to be drunk and to follow him, because Christianity comes to us from Babylon. It is Babylon's religion to make us drunk and to keep us away from the Most High and to ensure that we end up in a ditch. So the New Testament that was given to us. It is our scriptures, our word rather, but it was given to us in the same spirit of Christianity, which is this spirit of rebellion, the spirit of disobedience to the Most High. And it's in the spirit of Edom, because it is the Edomites who gave it to us. And we're going to see the implication of that from scripture, etc. The Edomites gave it to us. And so they took what we had and they made it their own, as they have done with so many things in this world. Even in America, it is said that the people that call them white people living there, did not start any music form. All the music forms began with the blacks, and they just came in and owned them and took it as their own. Yes? And that is their characteristic in almost everything that they do. They come, take it, make it their own. That is what they did with the New Testament. And so if you look at the top right of your screen here, you would see, as it relates to assembling together, the word congregation is found 333 times in the Old Testament, but only one time in the New Testament. Imagine that. You would think that it is another book entirely. And this is why many people reject the New Testament and will have nothing to do with it. But it was given for us to dig. What am I doing here? Yeah, it was given for us to dig, because the Most High allowed us to go into captivity. And he told us in several places that he would make us serve our enemies and that blindness would happen to us. So he made this happen to us so that when we now come out of our captivity, then we dig. And when we dig, we get to realize all the prophecies and everything line up to show us that the characteristic of Edom, of taking everything, grabbing and ripping everything that is good for themselves and leaving nothing for others, is manifested in the New Testament. This internet is slow? Oh boy. All right. No, the one that I'm doing, because I'm not on that internet. On the phone. All right, so pick this. And it's working. All right, I'm going to switch the internet because this one is acting up slowly. All right. So I should be still on. Yes, it seems so. All right. So it's the same principle. Oh, low system resources, internet. It's the same principle with the scriptures that the Edomites have done. So why is congregation 333 times in the Old Testament, but only once in the New Testament? Because they took the congregation, because the congregation is the same congregation in the New Testament. They took it and they changed it and made it into church. We're going to look at that. They made it into an institution that has a totally different personality from the assembly of Yahuwah that is in the Bible. Okay? It is Edom taking it and owning it. And the word assembly as well is found 44 times in the Old Testament, but only 5 times in the New Testament. So between congregation and assembly, which have interchanging meanings, between both of those, they have taken it 377 times and taken it out 377 times. And they have replaced it with their words, which actually point to their false assembly that they call church. And this is why when you hear us reading here, we don't say church, because people use the term church and say, okay, it's just a term. It's just a term. It's not just a term. It has a totally different personality in itself, totally different meaning from the assembly of Yahuwah. And in calling it church, you are actually lumping yourself with Christianity, lumping yourselves with Christians. Just as how the word God, you say, oh, it's a title for the Most High. No, it's not a title for the Most High. It's also used as a name, and it is a name of a false deity, fortune. So you don't use it. Oh boy, internet. Let me try and see if I can switch it again. See if it will be better. Because I'm getting low system resources, which has affected the radio. Let me try to switch it again. Sorry about the technical difficulties here. Get the radio back on. Okay. Let me get the radio back on and see how it goes. All right, let's see how it goes. Sorry about that break on the radio. All right. All right. So, as we were talking about Edom, that Edom, our captives, are also the ones who have us now blinded in Babylon through their deceptions, including their religions as prophesied. See also Revelation 17 and 18. And so we go to Lamentations 1, verses 5 to 7. Shamuel there?
I'm right here.
All right, Lamentations 1, verses 5 to 7. Edom.
Her adversaries are the chief.
Read, please.
Her enemies prosper, for Yahuwah hath afflicted her for the multitude of her transgressions. Her children are gone into captivity before the enemy.
All right, as we've said so many times before, whenever our people are in captivity, the people who have us in captivity are the chief nations of the world, the most powerful nations in the world, and the Most High makes them prosper because of the blessings and the curses. Whenever we are in punishment, our adversaries get the blessings and we get the curses. Whenever we are lifted up, which is actually rarely, we get the blessings, and then they are put under us, under the curses. So the chief nations are our adversaries. And today, we just need to look at how the world is run, and we see who our our adversaries are, the chief nations in the world. And you don't have to look far to know where Edom is, just by looking at the chief nations that are in the world. Because 2 Ezra 6, is it verse 9, tells us that Esau is the end of this world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. So at this time, Esau must be ruling, and we don't have to look far to see the richest and most powerful nations in the world. Verse 6. Verse 6. Am I cut off? Somebody hearing me?
Yeah, I can hear you, yes.
Verse 6.
And from the daughter of Zion all her beauty is departed. Her princes are become like huts that find no pasture, and they are gone without strength before the pursuer.
Oh, this is what happens when we go into captivity. Verse 7.
Jerusalem remembered in the days of her affliction and of her miseries all her pleasant things that she had in the days of old, when her people fell into the hand of the enemy, and none did help her. The adversary saw her and did mock at her Sabbaths.
All right, so two main things here. She remembers in the days of her affliction all her pleasant things that she had in the days of old. This is what happens when Edom comes in. Edom takes away all our pleasant things and leave us with nothing. And they mock at our Sabbaths. The Sabbath is there. Psalms 83 tells us how they hate the Most High and hate his people. So they hate the way of the Most High. So they come with religions that are in rebellion against the Most High. And one of the things they hate the most is the Sabbath. There are two main things that characterize Edom and their hatred for the Most High. It is the Sabbath and it is pork, unclean food, especially pork, and the Sabbath. So they mock at her Sabbaths. But remember, in the days of old, all her pleasant things. So where are the pleasant things gone? And we go to verse 10.
The adversary hath spread out his hand upon all her pleasant things. For she hath sinned that the heathen entered into her sanctuary, but thou didst command that they should not enter into thy congregation.
Whom thou didst not this command that they should not enter into thy congregation. So we remember the pleasant things, but guess what happened to the pleasant things? The adversary has spread out his hand upon all her pleasant things. Edom. We're going to see that it is Edom coming up soon. Has scriptures, everything, or writings, everything good. And they have entered into the sanctuary. They always enter into the sanctuary and take out the pleasant things, the gold and all of those silver and all of those things that are in the sanctuary. And this is a hallmark of Edom. The other day, I actually, oh boy, it's not on? All right. Let me try the radio again. It's low resource. That's making it trip out. All right. Yeah, the other day I saw the other day, maybe the radio is too much bandwidth. It's out. All right. So the other day I saw something, a video with some leader in Belgium going back to, was it Congo? One of those countries, to return a mask that was stolen from that country. And it was a Congo. Now, if you understand history, it is said that King Leopold himself annihilated about 10 million people from Congo. That's what they estimate. 10 million people was killed under his reign of terror, killed and maimed in his reign of terror in Belgium. And these people come back. Belgium, Congo is probably the richest country in terms of resources in the world, in minerals, etc. Now, these people come back with a mask, just a mask, and say, have a ceremony and all of that, big ceremony, returning a mask. 10 million people you have ripped, and your country has become rich off the back of the blood of these people, and all you can return is a mask. Whenever they come into their country, go ahead.
What you're saying is accurate. Now, even the masks they're returning are actually idols.
Yes.
They bring in idols for them to fall into a snare.
Yes. So every pleasant thing that is in your country, Edom comes and grabs it for himself. Everything that is pleasant. And so let's go back to the Lamentations 4:19. I'm going to show that it is Edom that is the culprit. Lamentations 4:19. Read, please.
Our persecutors are swifter than the eagles of the heaven. They pursued us upon the mountains. They laid ways for us in the wilderness.
It's the same thing that happened in the slave trade. Our persecutors. And notice it says swifter than the eagles. This is your clue. swifter than the eagles. And who is swifter than the eagles? Let's go to Deuteronomy 28:49 to 51 to see that those people who brought us in captivity actually do much this swifter than the eagles. Read, please.
Yahuwah shall bring a nation against thee from afar, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth.
Oh, as what?
As swift as the eagle flieth.
Now we here in Jamaica, who brought us into captivity? The British.
Yeah.
Edomites, as swift as the eagle flies. So back in Lamentation, it's the same thing. It's just repeated over and over again. Edomites have us in captivity. And we're going to see that the eagle refers to Edom. So start again, 49, please.
Yahuwah shall bring a nation against thee from afar, or from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Continue.
A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor shew favor to the young.
All right.
And he...
This is perfectly matching our captivity. Grand Britannia, Great Britain, perfectly matching our captivity. A nation of fierce countenance. Now has about 60 million. Once it, I don't know, the British Empire spread throughout the entire world, all over. There was not an empire like it, because the previous empires that you had, they were conquering from one country to the other, linking up countries. Britain had countries scattered all over and somehow managed with their small population, small size, to control all these countries. Imagine Britain once controlled much of Canada and much of the United States. Let's think about that. That small island. This is a nation. These are Edomites. Verse 51. Right. Shamal, are you there?
I'm here. And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or the increase of thy kine or flocks of thy sheep, until he have destroyed thee.
And this is written for you. Rip and rape and rip and rape until they left nothing. Jamaica was once a prosperous country, bringing out so much money for them when sugar was king. Then when everything boiled down, they gave us independence and left us with nothing. This Edom. So, showing that this is Edom, because you have to link it with the church and everything. So, talking about the eagle now, linking up the eagle, Obadiah 1:4-6. Obadiah 1:4-6. Read, please.
Though thou exalt... I'm here. It's your bandwidth, bro.
There is a delay. Are you turning off the mic?
No. It's the bandwidth from your side. Your internet bandwidth is very low.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, verse 4.
Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith Yahuwah. Can anyone...
All right, so we see the...
Okay. All right, you're back.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good.
All right, so here's the connection to the eagle. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle. And we know the book of Obadiah is solely dedicated to Edom. And we just read a while ago of how he comes and he rips and he rapes and he robs and he leaves you with nothing. Here we go again. Verse 5. Who?
If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, thou cut off, would they not have stolen still? Would they not have stolen? Still they had enough. If the grape
You can't see it.
yeah, you need yeah. The thing I think the screen is gone very, very low. Can anyone else see the screen?
You can't see the screen? All right, let me get it.
Okay.
If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? How are the things of Esau searched out? How are its hidden things sought up? So here is the same characteristic. Edom, when they come, they take everything and leave you with nothing. That's what they did with our scripture. Took the scripture and made it their own. Took it and made it about them. As it said in the book of Wisdom of Solomon, they painted their likeness in the law, which is why when you see anything to do with any Bible story, any movie, it shows the people in the scripture as being white. And which is why they even took the children of Israel and painted them white, because they became white Jewish people. They would not even leave the memory of Yasharal alone. They took it and created it in their own image and made themselves white and say they are everything that is good. Everything that is good, they take it away. And it says in verse 6, how are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? So this characteristic makes you know who Esau is today. So we go back now to Lamentation 14, 19 to 22. We're going to see that it is Edom who is our oppressors. And Lamentations 4, that it was prophesied that Edom would be our oppressors. So those people are now saying, oh, Israelites are white. Israelites are white. You're going to see that those who are at the bottom of the barrel have to be the Israelites, and those who are the top are actually the oppressors in this time. No two ways about it. Lamentation 14 to 22. Read, please, Shamuel, if you can see it.
Our persecutors are swifter than the eagles of the heaven. They pursued us upon the mountains. They laid wait for us in the wilderness.
Continue.
All right. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz.
No. Verse 20.
Oh, the breath of our nostrils, the anointed of Yahuwah, was taken in their pits, of whom we said, under his shadow we shall live among the heathen.
Mm-hmm. So we are living under the shadow of the heathen right now. No two ways about it. We do not have any power in this world. Even when they say we are independent, we are still living under their shadows. They dictate everything. Everything. You just need to look at what is happening in this world today. It's Edom that is dictating everything. And Lamentations 21 now is going to tell us that it is Edom.
Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken, and shalt make thyself naked.
All right. Rejoice and be glad. Let me change this. To what? Okay. So rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom.
Man, this lesson is so critical, man. What is this internet up to? Um,
Are you
let's
hearing me?
no start all over again. We are missing some nuggets.
Yeah. All right, verse 21. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and shall make thyself naked. So, what is happening here? It is talking about Edom, who is our oppressor, has been our oppressors, and will in the end be getting back their recompense. They are going to be drunken and they are going to be exposed. Make thyself naked means make thyself exposed. So they're going to be exposed for who they are. And people are going to see them because right now, people are saying, who is Edom? And we tell them who Edomites are. They say, no. By the way, we have the number one post on justaword.org. Who are the Edomites today? A very, very powerful exposition of Edom. And those who are wondering who Edom is, check out that teaching. Very, very powerful. Gets a whole lot of hits and a whole lot of Edomites because through using our statistical tracking system, we are able to see where these people who come on the website are from. A whole lot of Edomites are coming. And I remember in the day, this is why knowledge has to be progressive, because when I just wrote it, the comment box was hot and people were cursing, but some more revelations have come through. And since the revelations have come through and I've updated it, I don't think I've had any comment. Everybody silent, and I can see the time that they spend on it. And some of them spend some quality time. Some of them like more over an hour on the article, going through everything. And nobody says anything because it is very, very compelling with what the Most High has given as to who the Edomites are. So you can check that out. It's entitled, Who Are the Edomites Today? And if you search Google, it will come up. You can check it out. All right. So Edom is the culprit. And verse 22 says,
The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will have no mercy. He will have no more carry, or what? He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins.
So what he's saying here is what is going to be repeated again in the end time. Right now, the punishment of our iniquity is accomplished. We have been here 400 years in captivity. And he will no more carry us away in captivity. He's going to redeem us. He's going to turn our captivity. So he will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. So it is now the time of the Edomites. So that is why you see the world turning where it is turning. And you are hearing about coming food shortage. You are hearing about economic collapse, stock market collapse, everything. It is going to be bitter as the whole world is going to descend into chaos and madness as the Most High takes vengeance on Edom. And to his people, he said, move away from these people. Flee out of the midst of Babylon. Before I execute my judgment on them, just step away from them. Let me have my way with them. Because if you stay with them, I'm going to judge you as wanting to partake of the evil and the wickedness that they have set up and the drunkenness that they have set up. And so I will not spare you. You will have a really rough time. All right. So that is Edom there. Did I do verse 22?
Yes, you did.
Okay. So that is Edom. And those are the people who gave us the religion. And it is the same spirit in which they gave us the religion, a spirit in which they took everything and leave us with nothing. Okay? So, yeah. So we did Jeremiah 49, 7, 9 to 10 and Obadiah. Forget to switch it here. So, and you know, it is the Edomites that are ruling today. The slogan for the fourth industrial revolution, that this new world order that they're setting up, they say, you will own nothing and be happy.
Yep.
It is only in the Bible, it is only one nation of people who would say that, and that is Edom. Only the Edomites would really come to you barefaced and say, you're not going to have anything. We are going to take everything. You are not going to have anything, and you are going to be happy. No other nation on this earth would say that. So you know, it is Edom that is ruling this world. So now we have laid that down. What are we to be doing at this time? The children of Yasharal and those who wish to join themselves to the people of the Most High. What should we be doing at this time? That is a question. And it was given to us in the book of Zephaniah and chapter 2. This came out of our meeting the other night. Ethel brought this out and fits perfectly in what we are doing today. Yeah. So our punishment was to be blinded for a time in false religion. No, it's not that time for that as yet. Not that time for that chapter 2 as yet. So our punishment was to be blinded for a time in false religions. Edom would have their time, and then the Most High would just turn everything around, pull up Edom, and pour out his wrath upon them, and we be restored. So as punishment for the sins of our fathers, we were sentenced to be blinded in false religions until the end time when we will be awakened. Deuteronomy 28, verse 64. Deuteronomy 28, 64. Read, please.
And Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
All right, so we were sentenced. We were sentenced to serve other gods. And why will we serve other gods? The Most High has put something in us. In the book of Isaiah, he told us that I formed him. Yea, I made him. I made him to show forth my splendor. I made him to show forth my praise. The Most High made us to praise and to worship. That is why we as a people are mocked and say, oh, how we love the Most High, and we are the least on the earth. And we hear people say, atheists say, oh, the people who don't know or don't even worship God, they are the richest, most powerful, prosperous people on the earth. And you who worship him are poor. Yes? The Most High has made us with something in us to worship. So when we are given false, mighty ones, we are going to worship them. Many of us here today in Christianity were sincere in our worship, thinking that we were worshiping the Most High. Because there's something in us that says there is a mighty one and we have to worship him. Our punishment was the Most High was going to direct our worship to serve other gods, even wood and stone. All right? And then these, among the nations, the Most High also sentenced us for them to actually teach us garbage. Isaiah 28, 11. In Isaiah 28, he was telling us about precept upon precept that will let you know the truth. And he told you why you will need precept upon precept. And this is what is happening now. This is why today, just for example, I was speaking about Edom in the beginning and trying to trace Edom and the fact that it was Edom that would be our oppressors in the end. So we had to move from Lamentations to Deuteronomy to Obadiah to Jeremiah to, yeah. This is why we have to do that. Verse 11.
For with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to this people.
All right, with stammering lips, and stammering there comes from laeg, which means buffoon or a foreigner, and another language will he speak to this people. So we were sentenced to be in false religion and to be taught by buffoons, by foreigners, by people who have no wisdom at all of the scriptures. That has happened to us in Christianity. That is why Christianity dominates everything and act as if they are the authority on everything. They know everything. You see, like how Kazakh will be here and I will teach something and then more comes upon it. And then I say, hey, something new, just got a new understanding, just got a new. They don't do that. Whatever they know, that is it. They don't budge from it. They don't learn anything new. They just have a core set of beliefs and that's it. They don't want to hear anything else. So they have had us fooled in this system because we were sentenced for this to happen. So a sister asked in the group if it was wrong for her not to want to hear from them. And we say, it is right for you not to want to hear from them because now you have awakened and understood that the stammering lips, the lips of the buffoons is what we're teaching you. And now he has awakened his people who are now being given the word of truth to lead you into the path of righteousness. Do not go back and listen to these people. None of our people should be listening to these Christian people at all. At all. Okay? And verse 12 says,
to whom he said, this is the rest, wherewith ye may cause the weary to rest, and this is the refreshing, yet they would not hear.
Yet they would not hear. This is why he made this happen to us. Because he says, okay, walk in righteousness and you're good. But we didn't want to hear. Yeah? So he made us listen to these foreigners. And so we have Romans 11, the famous Romans 11, 25 to 26, which tells us about the blindness that the Most High made us go through from even in the time of the Apostle Shaul. It's a principle that has been there from ever since. Romans 11, 25 to 26.
For I would not, brethren, that ye should be ignorant of this mystery, lest ye should be wise in your own conceits, that blindness in part has happened to Israel, until the fullness of the Gentiles be come in.
All right, so blindness in part. So the buffoons taught us. But what did they teach us with? They teach us with the Bible. So the Bible is there for us to see, so we can see the Bible, but we cannot understand it. That's what they did to us in Christianity. We had the Bible, but because the foundation was wrong, we were building our understanding on a false foundation. The false foundation is that it's about a religion, that Christians are chosen. Christians will be raptured, all of those false foundations on the foundation of a Trinity and Jesus is God and a whole lot of false foundations. So we could not get the truth out of it. Okay? So it is until the fullness of the Gentiles be come in, that is when our blindness will be taken away. So we are in a gradual, and this is why I would tell people, if you see me say something, and anybody there, because you have some people in the awakening who act as if they cannot be wrong, or as if they have everything figured out. That is wrong. We are not going to know anything and everything until we enter the kingdom. We are still going to be short in some things, which is why we have the assembly, which is what we're going to move to, the assembly of coming together and building together. All right? So, blindness in part until the fullness of the Gentiles, verse 26 says,
And so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written, there shall come out of Zion the deliverer, and shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob.
All right. So this is now saying, this is, I was listening to a group called Sikari the other day. They were saying all Israel, that every Israelite will eventually be saved. I think they say after the millennium, all Israelites shall be saved. And because of this verse, and this verse is not actually saying every Israelite shall be saved. It's saying all Israel, referring to the 12 tribes of Israel. And you can reference that with the dry bones of the whole house of Israel, the two sticks coming together, the stick of Ephraim and the stick of Judah, the whole 12 tribes coming back together. So all Israel refers to the whole 12 tribes shall be saved. And it is a remnant. Though the number of the children of Yasharal be as the sand of the sea, a remnant shall return. All right? It's the consumption determined shall overflow with righteousness. So it is a righteous remnant which will be saved from all 12 tribes. And so all Israel will be saved. All 12 tribes will be saved. Okay, Jeremiah 16, 14 to 19. So this is what is going to happen in the end. In the end, he is now going to send and gather us. So after we have been fooled, there's going to be an awakening. And in this awakening, he is going to gather us and open up our eyes and bring us. And this is what is happening, the restoration of Yasharal. Verse 14, read please.
Therefore, behold, the days come, saith Yahuwah, that it shall no more be said, Yahuwah liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But Yahuwah liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands, whither he had driven them. And I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers.
All right, so he will awaken them, and then he will gather them. Verse 16.
Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith Yahuwah, and they shall fish them. And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill, and out of the holes of the rocks.
All right, so we will be hunting out our people. And that is why we say when the Gentiles come to the Most High, we ask the Gentiles, are you trying to awaken the people of the Most High? Because you now know who the children of the Most High are. Are you trying to awaken them? Are you going to them and telling them that they are the people of the book and trying to fish them out for the Most High? Most Gentiles are too busy with their families, catering only to their families and friends and those who look like them, to even think about Yahuwah's people. But that is another story that has always been on my heart. All right, go ahead. Verse 17.
For mine eyes are upon all their ways. They are not hid from my face, and neither is their iniquity hid from mine eyes. And first, I will recompense their iniquity and their sin double, because they have defiled my land. They have filled my inheritance with the carcasses of their detestable and abominable things.
So they ask us, why are we like this? Why are we? You see, the true Israelites? The true Israelites cannot be a successful people who control and rule the world and who are the richest people in the world. Cannot be. Because before we are gathered, our iniquity and our sins have to be recompensed double. So we cannot be anything that is high. And go to Deuteronomy 28, it tells you that we are going to be low while we are in captivity. All right? Verse 19. All right, you don't need 19. Oh, yes, go 19.
O Yahuwah, my strength and my fortress and my refuge in the day of affliction, the Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth, and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit.
So when the Most High ends up redeeming us, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. The Gentiles are going to say, whoa, hold up. But I thought these people were the Jews. Yes? And I thought these people were nothing. How is it that they are the people of the Most High? As it says in the book of Wisdom of Solomon. This is what's going to happen. Yes? But we are going to look now at what we are supposed to be doing at this time. Knowing all of this, what are we supposed to be doing at this time? We were called to gather together at this time. Gather together. Read, please.
Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
All right. We are called to gather together. There's a reason the Most High calls us to gather together. It's the importance of this meeting, of this teaching for us today. We are called to gather together to be perfected before the coming of Hamashiach, because we cannot be perfected on our own. If you want to know the difference, those of us, you are on your own, go and gather together with a group of believers, and you will see how the imperfection of not only the other believers are shown, but also your very own imperfection are going to show up. So we are told to gather together. When we are gathered together, then we will learn love, tolerance, patience, long-suffering, mercy, forgiveness. These are learned things. You cannot just be here by your own. Nobody bothering you. Nobody getting on top of your nerves. Nobody
telling you,
shortchanging you and backbiting you.
Yes.
You're not going to learn tolerance and all of those good things that come with a true believer being on your own. No two ways about it. You're saying something, Samuel.
Yeah. I was saying, no one is going to be able to tell you when you are going wrong.
That's another thing. But a very important thing, though, is how our own imperfections are shown up. And the imperfections of others are shown up.
Yeah.
And it is a whole different world out there when you gather together. So the Most High tells us to gather together, nation not desired, means those who are the rejects. We are a nation not desired. Tell me something now. Every time I talk about the children of Yasharal, I think about those people who say they are Jews. Are they a nation not desired?
Nope. They are desired by every nation.
They are exalted among the other nations. Every people, they put them on a pedestal.
Yeah.
The Christians in this side of the world even send how much money to them, etc. Our people are rejected and neglected and treated as nothing. And that's us, O nation not desired. Verse 2.
Before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as the chaff, before the fierce anger of Yahuwah come upon you, before the day of Yahuwah's anger come upon you.
You see what this verse 2 is saying?
Yeah.
Gather together before the wrath of Aluah comes. You gather together before his wrath comes, so you are perfected, so you are not found to be among the sinners. Because his wrath is going to be upon the unrighteous, upon the sinners. So you gather together to be perfected, as we said before, going through all of the grind, going through the fire to be perfected, so that when his anger comes, it does not dwell upon you. Verse 3.
Seek ye Yahuwah, all ye meek of the earth, which have wrought his judgment. Seek righteousness, seek meekness. It may be ye shall be hid in the day of Yahuwah's anger.
It may be. It just may be. So you gather together to be perfected. Just maybe, after you've gathered together, then you would have attained unto righteousness. So you might be hid in the day of Yahuwah's anger. So verse 2 tells us why we must gather to access his mercy before his judgment goes out. And remember, we did a teaching, mercy triumph over judgment. So the mercy is there before the judgment is executed. But verse 3 tells us that gathering together and seeking Aluah may just save us from his wrath. So that is why in this time, we must gather together. And it is very significant. The word and our lives have to be alive with the word. Some people get offended when I teach because I might have interactions with them and the interactions comes out in the teaching, etc. It is just because the word is alive. And when you're walking in the Ruach, you'll be able to match the word and the word. And this week we began our first, our meetings with our group meetings. We resumed our group meetings, but with a group that is on YouTube. And it is during this thing, I didn't think about this teaching then, but it's doing this, then I realized, oh, that is why the Most High made me do this. Because nothing happens by chance. Yes? This is why he made me do this. For those who are, and some of these people that say they have been listening for like 2 years, etc. And this is why the Most High has done it for us to gather together so that we can be perfected together. And that is why it tells us in the book of Abraham 10:21 to 27, it tells us we must not forsake the gathering together. This is what it means. Read, please.
And having an high priest over the house of Aluah, let us draw near with a true heart and full assurance of faith, having our hearts sprinkled from an evil conscience and our bodies washed with pure water.
All right, so this is baptism. Our hearts sprinkled from an evil conscience. So it's actually telling us that the sprinkling of the heart, the sprinkling that was done in the old covenant is spiritually manifested here as the heart being sprinkled with the water of purification. But now in the new covenant, our bodies need to be washed with pure water as well, our hearts sprinkled from an evil conscience. This is where it all begins. And when it all begins, then we draw near with a true heart. In verse 23,
let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering, for he is faithful that promised.
All right, so we have to now profess our faith and our emunah. And how do we profess our emunah if we just stay by ourselves? We have to come together. Verse 24.
And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works.
Okay.
I love the word provoke.
Yes. Let us consider one another. This is why we come together. To provoke one another unto love. And let me see if provoke has any interesting meaning here. Provoke unto, provoke, paroxysm, incitement, or dispute.
Help one another, yes.
Hey.
Long suffering. You challenge one
Look
another.
at this. No, I have to show this one. Because when they come together as believers, a lot of believers are offended sometimes, and we are offended too easily.
Yes.
We think it is like a pet shop, and you have to be everybody so nice, and everything has to be nice, and you have to always be nice, and you are checked for everything you say, and you have to explain everything. No, read verse what provoke means. Let's get it on the screen. Can you see it?
Yeah. Scroll down. Okay, let's see.
All right. Paroxysmos.
Yes.
From paroxysm, incitement to good, or dispute in anger, contention, provoke unto. So our provoking, which is an incitement to good, will not always involve being mushy nice. You get what I'm saying, Shamuel?
Yes, yes. I mean, the detailed part about it is that this is what is being said, all right? Those that take offense, you cannot be in the faith or in this walk and be carrying offense, all right? Because part of being perfected or going to be perfected is being shown your what? Your errors. And that oftentimes people take offense to that. Correction, reproof, all right, which is what scripture is given for. So when you are in the assembly, when you are in the congregation, this is what you are going to be challenged by those that, remember, we are all not on the same wavelength. Some's righteousness are ahead of the of others. And so when they see you slacking, it's easy for them to caution you to say, hey, quicken you. The word should be quickened. You are quickened to awaken to the mistakes that you are falling short of. And that is where the word provoking helps you to perfection.
All right. Yeah, so the word provoke there. So read from 24 into 25 now.
And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as the manner of some is, but exalting one another, and so much the more as ye see the day approaching.
All right, so this is why we gather. To help one another. To help one another unto love and to good works. Not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together as the manner of some is. Most people, as we said, we do not assemble together when we come into the truth to find out about false church, etc. But we must not forsake the assembling of ourselves together because we need to exhort one another. We need to help one another. As I said, a man cannot be perfected on his own. So you will have, for example, you have some people like myself who, my assembly is like me and my daughter and I. Now, when we are here together, we can be perfected together. But put us with another family or put up with somebody else, then we start to find you have to be doing different things to work out your own imperfections and also seeing the imperfections of others. How do you show others their imperfections? If they are, and sometimes they might be unwilling to accept their imperfections. So how do you deal with it? So coming together, it's a whole different ball game. Whole different ball game. And this we need though, so that we can move from love unto good works. Okay?
Yeah.
And it tells us why we need to do this. Because we have to be on our P's and Q's. We have to be sharpened. We have to, if we are alone and we relax in our sinful state, then guess what will happen? We will end up sinning willfully. Verse 26.
For if we sin willfully after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for our sin,
Continue.
but a certain fearful looking for of judgment and fiery indignation, which shall devour the adversary.
Okay. So this is why we need to come together. Because if we relax too much and we go into willful sin, then there remains no more sacrifice for sins. Very, very serious pronouncement here, which we have looked at several times before. We have an article and a video on our website about if you sin willfully. We go into more detail with that. So it is very, very imperative that we get together to help one another unto good works. Because when you come together with others and you interact with others, you see where you are lacking. There are a lot of people who don't accept that they lack anything. But I always say when I came around Brother Mahar, and I am not afraid to say that, I see in him so many things that I lack. Yeah? So many things that the things that I took for granted, I said, that is admirable. That is not me. But then you see that it would be good for you now to develop those things. That's what getting together does. And I hope it's the same thing for him with me, and the same thing for others who I interact with me, that they see something in me that they find lacking and try to build up themselves otherwise. And this is what I do with everyone I go around. I look and I say, this is admirable. This is something that I am missing. So coming together is really helpful. Even with the Zephaniah 2, it would have been missing from today's teaching had not Ethel brought it up in the group meeting. So everyone actually contributes to it. All right. So the whole aim of assembly, though, if we want to generalize why we need to assemble, the whole bottom line is love, fulfilling the two greatest commandments. So we're going to study why it is essential for us to regularly assemble together. And we are going to look at the fulfillment of the two greatest commandments, which is what we can achieve by coming together in the assembly. We cannot fulfill the righteousness of the law unless we fulfill the two greatest commandments, which is love. Matthew 22:35. Matthew 22:35. Okay. Coming up. 22:35, that's what I said?
Yep.
All right. Read, please.
Then one of them, which was a lawyer, asked him a question, tempting him and saying, Master, which is the great commandment in the law? 37. Yahushua said unto him, Thou shalt love Yahuwah thy Aluah with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
Continue.
On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets.
So this is our whole aim, coming together to bring us to perfection, to love Yahuwah with all our hearts, mind, and soul, and to love our neighbor as yourself. How can you love your neighbor as yourself if you do not have a neighbor? How can you love your neighbor as yourself if you are not around other people? Impossible.
You're not being perfected, yes.
It is like we ask the Gentiles, how can you be grafted into Israel and you don't know Israel? How can you be grafted into Israel and you reject the children of Israel? Same thing. How can you love your neighbor as yourself and you don't really allow yourself to have a neighbor? Yeah?
Yes.
You have most of us will have our families. What about other people? How do we interact when other people are there? That is a true test of loving your neighbor as yourself. And so when we come together now in the assembly, we must love one another, or we cannot be the disciples of Hamashiach. It's love that is the whole bottom line. Love, love, love. That is why we come together. And it is reproof, exhortation, and rebuke that is going to get us perfected in love. Okay?
Yes.
John 13:34. Read, please.
A new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another as I have loved you, that ye also love one another.
35.
By this shall all men know that ye are my disciples, if ye have love one to another.
So how can you truly? You cannot just be at a distance and say you love someone. Yes? You have to actually know the person and interact with the person in order to truly love the person. 1 Thessalonians 3:12.
I mean, while you're looking at that, bro, quickly,
yes.
There's a difference between a good person and a righteous person, all right? Let me break down this. Because many people will heap onto themselves good people meaning that people that will promote the concept or idea of love. You know, good people never want to offend. Righteous people are not biased. They would also tell you when what? when something is wrong because they have the
Yes.
judgment of the Most High. They will tell you. So oftentimes people run to good people because, hey, he loves me, she loves me. Not necessarily the kind of love that has to do with correction, but the love that has to do with, oh, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. And that kind of love is very deadly because it's leading many people as well astray. So let us be careful to differentiate the two. Good people, righteous people are two different people. Righteous people are bold. They can discern the word to you whenever it's required, all right? Without fear and without favor. Okay.
All right, very important there as well. And that goes into itching ears as well. People who cannot tolerate the hard word of truth usually run to hear what they want to hear and run and find teachers that tell them what they want to hear. That is itching ears. Same along the same line as well. 1 Thessalonians 3:12.
And Yahweh make you to increase and abound in love one toward another and toward all men, even as we do toward you.
Abound in love towards one another and toward all men. So here we go again now. This is another one where the Hebrew Israelites teach that they only love their people. Now, this is saying that if you love one another, that is your people, and toward all men. So your love has to be extended toward all men.
Yeah.
So they say they only love their people. That is not what this is saying. Verse 22.
Seeing ye have purified your souls in obeying the truth through the Spirit unto unfeigned love of the brethren. See that ye love one another with a pure heart, fervently.
Fervently. So you have purified your souls in obeying the truth, and the law is the truth, through the Ruach, through belief, unto unfeigned love of the brethren. That is passionate love for the brethren, for your fellow brethren.
Yeah.
See that you love one another with a pure heart, fervently. So how can this happen unless we come together? We must come together for this to happen. And so believers in the end time, you have to find somewhere to assemble, if not physically, to assemble online, instead of what has been the case. People come into truth, realize Christianity is wrong, they stop going to church, and then they kind of stop interacting with others. Okay? So the question is, how can we get to truly love one another without interacting with each other? As Shaul said in 1 Corinthians 1:10, now I beseech you, brethren, by the name of our Master Yahushua Mashiach, that ye all speak the same things, and that there is no division among you, but that ye be perfectly joined together in the same mind and in the same judgment. This happens when we come together. This cannot happen when we are not together. In the same mind, in the same division, no division. So when you are together, that is another thing. There has to be a one accord. Everyone has to be of the same mind. Cannot be in an assembly and they have more than one person teaching different things.
Yeah.
Everything has to be synchronized. So if you are in an assembly where there is confusion, one person teaching one thing and another person teaching another thing, then that is confusion. And then you probably need to, kind of step away from the assembly or address the matter itself. Because, who was it again?
We saw it happen with Shaul when Peter and them called him because they had heard rumors about him teaching something contrary to what they were all teaching.
Yes. It's going to be confusion. And Yahuwah is not the author or the causer of confusion. So in your assemblies, you cannot have two teachers. If you have two teachers, they must be in one accord. When I say two teachers, two lead teachers. Yeah. All right? Yeah. Brother El Pedro is a fine example. Whenever he comes upon something new, he always contacts me, and then both of us go through it. And whenever he has a question, he comes and he asks. Even sometimes before he's going to make a presentation, he comes upon something. He calls me by video, asking me to clarify something. And so when I watch or listen to El Pedro's presentations, it is totally synchronized with what I am saying. So totally synchronized with the teachings from Just a Word. All right. So that is how people who are in the same assembly should operate. Something new comes to you, bam, you come to the person who is bringing the word and say, hey, this is new, don't you? You don't just take something and run with it. That is going to be confusion, because in the end, you're going to have some people believing this, some people believing that. Damn, confusion. Confusion. We must be, as Shaul says, there is no division among you, perfectly joined together in the same mind and in the same judgment. And this is one thing that I try to fight for when I'm in any assembly. When I see the judgment going on, the division, and the minds not joined together, striving to put it together, but it's not always possible. And so we have to learn to get around that hurdle. And that hurdle is overcome by love, patience, tolerance, long-suffering, all of those fruit of the Ruach, all right? So the whole bottom line is we have to love one another as Yahusha loved the assembly. Mashiach is the head of the assembly and loved it so much, he gave up his life for it. So with a love that we are willing to give up our lives for our brethren, it will ensure that we will be in harmony. So what I'm actually doing here is to giving this for those people who will be going different places and will be in different assemblies together to know and understand what a true assembly is about, and actually speaking from mistakes that others have made and I myself have made over time. So we must love one another as Hamashiach loved the assembly. Ephesians 5:22-32. Ephesians 5:22-32. This is the love that we must have for our brethren. Go ahead.
Wives, submit yourself unto your own husbands, as unto Yahuwah. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Mashiach is the head of the church, of the assembly, of the congregation, and he is the savior of the body.
So this is the love that we should have. And it is also showing us the order in our lives. The husband is the head of the wife, even as Hamashiach is the head of the congregation. And he is the savior of the body, because we know women, raging women, heading assemblies, being pastors, being even apostles, leading their husbands, leading men. This is an absolute no-no when we get to understand Adam and Eve and the return that we must return to the Most High. Verse 24.
Therefore, as the congregation is subject unto Mashiach, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything.
In?
Everything.
Okay. Verse 25.
Husbands, love your wives, even as Messiah or Mashiach also loved the congregation and gave himself for it, that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word.
Verse 27.
That he might present it to himself a glorious congregation, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that it should be holy and without blemish.
All right, so this is why we gather together. Everything that happens is that in the end, when everything is ironed out, Everything is worked out, all the kinks, all our imperfections, all our bad ways, that we will be perfect without spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but set apart and without blemish. Okay? And notice it is the word. Let me tell you something. A whole lot of people are afraid of the word. When they speak the word and the word cuts, people get afraid. The word has to hurt us. The word has to cut us. When the word hurts us, that's the best thing. How do we respond to it? That is the other thing. If the word hurts us and we respond positively, then we are perfected. If the word hits us and then we cower from the word, run from the word, rebel against the word, then we are going to be in serious trouble.
And
that's no two ways about it. Okay?
And we can only be sanctified by the word. Just
yes.
so people know that. We can only be sanctified. Believers are going to live by every word of Yahuwah. So whatever decisions you want to take with regards to love, it must be within what? Within the word of the Most High.
Yeah.
So what the Most High's word does not say, let's not try and affect it in our lives, all right?
Yeah. So, where was he? Where were we? 32.
Brother Pedro was saying something.
Yeah, go ahead, Pedro.
Yes, it's in regards to the issue of love, because we have not learned love. We have not learned the meaning of love. We have not learned what is love. We have turned to think that the way we position ourselves, we are lovable. The way others position themselves, they are lovable. But the issue of love is much, much deeper than that, because we have an example of Yahuwah in the book of Yahuwah, John 3:16, where he expressed love, his love toward us. When he expressed his love towards us, it was, instead of us dying, his begotten should take our place. Instead of us suffering, his begotten should take our place. So therefore, we need to understand this, that every time we kneel down to pray to Yahuwah, our prayer must cover all of our brothers. Mm-hmm. We need to pray for each other. We need to make sure that each one of us is taken care of in whichever means possible, including prayer. Love is much deeper than just saying, let us love. We have to act on it. Thank you.
Yeah, love is practical, like everything is practical. The word is practical. Emunah or faith is practical. Belief is practical. Everything has to be walked out, because we are flesh and we are ruach. So when the ruach moves us, then it has to be manifested in our actions. So that old thing that we got from Christianity, all you have to do is believe. No, all you have to do is believe. And as James said, show me your emunah or your faith, and I'll show you my works by my faith, my works by emunah. So it is always manifested in actions. Okay?
Yeah.
So let's continue. Verse 28.
So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies, that he that loveth his wife loveth himself. For no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourisheth and cherisheth it, even as the master, master the congregation.
Continue.
For we are members of his body, of his flesh, and of his bones.
So because we are members of his body, of his flesh, and of his bones, he gathers us together. And then each one of us impacts each other through his ruach, because guess what? His ruach will be working in each one of us to bring each one of us to perfection, to bring out the best and the worst in most of us, usually the worst, to actually get us to the best. So his ruach working in each one of us together. He said, well, 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I'm right there in their midst. That is how we are perfected together. Continue.
For we are members of his body, of his flesh and of his bones. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother and shall be joined unto his wife, and they two shall be one flesh. This is a great mystery, but I speak concerning Mashiach and the congregation.
All right, so the great mystery, Mashiach and the congregation, we too likewise should leave whatever we are doing and be joined one unto another in the assembly itself. So, yeah. So we're speaking about love. Loving Most High with all our hearts, minds, and soul, loving our neighbors as ourselves, but we must also love strangers. And we must also love our enemies. Love must reach to a point where it's not only my children I love, or my friends that are so dear to me, or whomever we have, each one of us have loving. It's not only those who we love, but what about those strangers who we don't even know? We have to love the stranger. We have to even love our enemies, because the love of Aluah is actually making his sun to shine on the righteous and on the unrighteous. That is the love that should be in us, because we should be the children of the Most High. So loving others inside and outside the assembly, even those who do not love us. So we are to love the Most High with all our hearts, minds, and soul, love those who are in the assembly, and love those who are outside the assembly. And then even love those who do not love us. Let's go to the verses. Deuteronomy 23, verse 7.
Thou shalt not abhor an Edomite, for he is thy brother. Thou shalt not abhor an Egyptian, because thou was a stranger in his land.
All right, so the Edomite, as abhorrible, is there such a word as they are, we shall not abhor them simply because they are Edomites. Yeah, thou shalt not abhor an Egyptian, the people who had us in captivity, slave masters. It says you must not abhor them. This is the Most High saying it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if they are wicked now, then you know that's a different thing. All right? But you cannot abhor them just for being who they are. Deuteronomy 10, 17 to 19.
There is no cap on love.
Yeah. 17 to 19.
For Yahuwah your Aluah is Aluah of Aluahs, and master
Of Aluahim.
of Aluah of Aluahims, and master of masters, a great Aluah, a mighty and a terrible, which regardeth not persons, nor taketh reward.
Continue.
He doth execute the judgment of the fatherless and widow, and loveth the stranger, and giving him food and raiment.
Therefore, verse 19.
Love ye therefore the stranger, for ye were strangers in the land of Egypt.
There we go. Well, let's see which stranger he says we should love. It's very interesting. Never check this out. Love ye therefore the stranger. Love the ger. This is the good stranger. You see that?
Yeah.
This is the ger, the good stranger. This is not the nekar, which is the bad stranger. So it is kind of more deeper than that, because the pagans, the heathen, the Most High never told us to love the heathen or to love the pagan. But, and this is how it comes now, if someone wants to join themselves to Yasharal, if a stranger wants to join themselves to Yasharal, that stranger becomes a good stranger. Right, Shamuel?
100%.
If that stranger refuses to join Yasharal, that stranger is a bad stranger. And you have a lot of people who even say they are followers of the way. They are Natsarim, and they abhor everything to do with our people.
Yeah.
They are not good strangers. They are bad strangers because they refuse to come among his people. Yeah?
Yeah.
Let me go to 18 and see which stranger here Yahuwah loves, if it is a good stranger. And loveth the stranger. He loves the ger. That is the guest, the ones who sojourn among Yasharal. So when people say they want to sojourn among us, they want to join themselves to us, we cannot reject them because they are the good strangers. So we also have to love the strangers. Ezekiel 47:22 also tells us that. Ezekiel 47 also tells us that we should love the stranger. Read, please.
And it shall come to pass that ye shall divide it by lot for an inheritance unto you, and to the strangers that sojourn among you, which shall beget children among you, and they shall be unto you as born in the country among the children of Israel. They shall have inheritance with you among the tribes of Israel.
All right, and this, of course, must be the ger. H1616. Yeah, the ger, the stranger, the good stranger. We must love the good stranger, but the wicked, we are not told to love the wicked. And 1 Thessalonians 3, verse 12. So we cannot love a stranger, a person, because a person has a skin color or is from another nation. And so you dismiss them, which a lot of our brothers do. That is wrong. There are good strangers and there are bad strangers. Good stranger is the one who is willing to come and join themselves with you, be part of you, and to even suffer with you. These are good strangers. Verse 12.
And Yahweh make you to increase and abound in love one toward another, and toward all men, even as we do toward you.
Continue.
To the end he may establish your hearts and unblameable. Let me start again. To the end he may establish your hearts unblameable in holiness before Aluah, even our Father, at the coming of our Master Yahushua Mashiach with all his saints.
All right, so we have love toward all, and love towards, abounding towards one another. That will make us be unblameable in holiness before Aluah. If we are not unblameable in holiness together in unity, in one accord before the Most High, it means that love is not being perfected among us, and love is not perfected in us. So we got some work to do. Matthew 5:43. And let me tell you something, Babylon makes it hard for us to truly love because of this competition life that we live and the whole pollution and I'm telling you, you have to come out of Babylon to truly be perfected. I truly believe that.
Yes.
Matthew 5:43.
Ye have heard that it hath been said, Thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy. But I say unto you.
All right, so here is another one now. Here's another one now that is conflicting. Love thine enemy. Because the line is your enemy is from your nation. This is one that I have battled with for some time. Once I thought it meant everyone, then I thought it meant or your own nation. But now I am seeing that it is actually a love for humanity, a love for even your enemy, which is manifesting the love of the Most High for his creation. Because when his love is in us, it is the love of Aluah that is in us. We become the children of Aluah. And it says, as it said in 1 John 2:15 and 15 to 16, it told you to love not the world. And it says, all that is in the world, the lust of pride of life, lust of the flesh and lust of the eyes are of the world. And it said something about how dwelleth the love of Aluah in you. So the love of Aluah, when it is in us, is a love that even the enemies you tolerate, even the enemies you are able to love. And that is the summit of love, when you can actually love your enemies. So you have heard that it has been said, thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemies. Verse 44.
But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you.
All right. So the question is now, if the enemies are only the enemies of our people, is it that when other people curse us, other people hate us, and other people despise us and persecute us, is it that we should love them?
No, we should love them.
Because verse 45 says,
that ye may be the children of your Father which is in Shamayin. For he maketh his sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and sendeth rain on the just and on the unjust.
So the question is now, does the Most High only make his sun to rise on our people?
No, on every people.
So this would include every people. And does he send rain on only the just and the unjust of our people?
No, on the entire peoples of the earth.
So this seems to be more broader than, we want to think. Go ahead.
All right. So this is exactly what's happening. We, even in our wickedness as a chosen people, the Most High still showed us what? Long suffering. All right. The Most High still showed us how deep his love runs, and he bore with us our sins, right? All till this very moment when we are being awakened. And this exaction, he says, I made Israel to show forth my glory. So we have to mimic, we have to become like him. Through us, the entire earth is supposed to know what love is. We are the example of what love, or the epitome of what love is on the face of this earth. So if we are running from our enemies, how is the enemy going to know what love is when they don't know what love is? Who is going to be the measure of love to correct them? So this is where this word comes in, which is very heavy if you don't follow and do what Yahuwah says you must do. If you don't follow the word, you are going to be choosing who to love.
All right. So the next verse.
For if ye love them which love you, what reward have ye? Do not even the publicans the same?
So if you love them which love you, so if you love your own people only, do not even the publicans the same. Verse 47.
And if ye salute your brethren only, what do ye more than others? Do not even the publicans so?
All right, so this word brethren here again refers to our people, because we use it in precepts, matching up in line upon line elsewhere to match up to show that it is his people. In Matthew 25, when we use it, when he says, when you do it to the least of these my brethren, we say his brethren are the Israelites. So if we salute the Israelites only, do not even the publicans so. And then verse 48 says,
but ye therefore be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in Shamayin is perfect.
So here's the thing now. Whatever he was asking us before to love our enemy, it must be something that brings us to perfection. It must be something that the average man does not do and cannot do. Because it is to let us reach up unto the perfection of our Father.
Yes. So when he says, be perfect as your heavenly Father is perfect, I mean, we saw it that Yahusha could have easily said to the Father, but these people are undeserving. They've acted wickedly. They are wicked people. Look, they're even killing me right now.
Yes.
But the word says that he who was without sin was made sin. All right. So
Yes.
he gave his life up for us, even when we were what? When we were still sinners, when we were yet sinners, he died for us, because this is the exemplary of the Most High. This is the perfection we are talking about, being modeled into the image and the perfection, or yeah, the
But
likeness of the Most High.
I thought you were going to another place, because when he was being killed, what did he say? Father, forgive them, they know not what they do.
Yes, yes,
That's the kind of love that we should have, even when being what? He said it up here.
when you're being persecuted. Yes,
Persecuted, even when being persecuted. So this is a love that most of us have not attained unto.
Yes, yes.
But
Because
one which we need to attain to. Go ahead.
I was thinking, well, not thinking, but exactly what the word says, that in the end, it says we must endure till the end. So in the end, it doesn't matter how much affliction or suffering we may have been through or endured, all right? Love must still be found in us. We must still flow with love. If
Yes.
not, we've become the very salt that has lost its what savory. So it is good for nothing. It will be chucked away and cast away or thrown away.
Yes.
So no matter what we have endured, I know this is for somebody out there, no matter what you have endured, all right, never change love in you to become what you are not made to become. Because many people have become bitter, very hurt, and that has led them into the idea or the character, the image of pride, wickedness, unforgiven, resentment. This is what it is. Now, you cannot be perfected if you don't face persecution, if you don't face this. And that reminds me of Peter's question in Matthew 8:21. That was exactly what Yahusha was explaining there when he said to Peter that you must forgive at all times.
Yeah.
At all times. This is what love is about. Because the moment you stop forgiving and you are going to hold on to resentment, you are going to become something else, which is not in the image and likeness of Yahuwah. All right, you will become a sycamore tree of unforgiveness that's going to be grown in you. All right, brother, you can continue.
Yeah. And another thing about unforgiveness against the enemies as well, the forgiveness against the enemies. And hear this. Many of us are bitter towards the enemies. When you are bitter towards the enemy, you are bitter towards the Most High. Why? Because we are in this predicament because of the sins of our fathers. It is a judgment. So when you are bitter towards these people and hate these people, you are going against the judgment of the Most High. You should be, like we do, acknowledge the sins, be acknowledging the sins of your fathers and telling the Most High that he is right in his judgment. He is right for what he did. He took them, he lifted them up, he made them, gave them everything that they needed, and they turned against him and worship idols. That is why we have these enemies, and that is why they oppress us. So why are you going to turn and be angry with these people when they are doing the will of the Most High?
Now, to add on to what you just said, remember the word says that the consumption decree shall what?
Overflow with righteousness.
Overflow with righteousness. So if you in this time are so hurt and bitter, you haven't been through the perfection. You haven't been perfected. You are not being perfected. You are still in your very same old ways of the fathers, the very same thing. Because righteousness is supposed to, the lesson learned out of this persecution, our slavery, our all these wickedness, atrocious acts that have happened unto us, is that it's supposed to perfect us, all right, to still be able to love and to demonstrate love when it is required of us. So this is what the consumption. So if you are there and you are still angry at what your oppressors have done to you, what the enemy has done to you, I mean, then you are equally have been made bitter as them, because they are also operating from a place of what? Hurt, wickedness. So this is what the Most High is saying in Isaiah 30 verse 18. And therefore will Yahuwah wait that he may be gracious unto you.
No. It's a wrong. This was prepared for beforehand.
Oh, okay.
All right. So what did you want the verse 48?
Yeah. Let me see. I just read. Okay, be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in Shamayim is perfect. No, that one was okay. So it was Isaiah 10:22, which it says, "The consumption decreed shall overflow with righteousness," so that
Oh, okay, that's what you want.
yeah, so that the people can see it, that the standard for all the things we have experienced is that we come out being made perfect, even as our heavenly Father is made perfect. It is perfect. Sorry. For though thy people Israel be as the sand of the sea, yet a remnant of them shall return. The consumption decreed shall overflow with righteousness. All right. So in the end, his people shall be regarded as what? As righteous. Your enemies will have nothing evil to say about you because you modeled what? Perfection. This is exactly what it is. All right.
All right. So, all right, the next thing now. What's the next title? So in the end, and this is what is happening now, in our awakening, the Most High will give us pastors and teachers to wake us up. Pastors and teachers after his own heart to wake us up. After being misled in churchianity, he is and other religions, he's going to give us people to wake us up as he promised. Read verse 18, please.
And therefore will Yahweh wait, that he may be gracious unto you. And therefore will he be exalted, that he may have mercy upon you. For Yahweh is an Aluah of judgment. Blessed are all they that wait for him.
All right, so those who wait on him are Barak. Verse 19.
For the people shall dwell in Zion at Jerusalem. Thou shalt weep no more. He will be very gracious unto thee at the voice of thy cry. When he shall hear it, he will answer thee.
So in the end time now, a lot of people now, when we come into, and this has been my experience as well, when we come and we see that we have been in lies, we usually ask the Most High to help us, show us the way. Father, I'm tired of these lies. I'm tired. Lead me into righteousness. Show me the way. He says, he shall hear it and he will answer thee. And then this is what he will do. This is why we need to be assembled together. This is what he will do. Verse 20.
And though Yahweh give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers.
He is going to bring out the teachers in the end and answer our people and open up our eyes to our people. And verse 21 says,
and thine eye and thine ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, This is the way, walk ye in it, when ye turn to the right hand, and when ye turn to the left.
So the teachers will direct you into the path that you should go. If you are going in the wrong direction, the teacher is going to correct you. Those are the teachers that the Most High is going to send.
So yeah. Those that are not hearkening unto the words of the teachers are literally rejecting Yahuwah. That's because that's a promise he also made in the New Testament when he says, I will give unto you teachers after my what? After my own heart.
Own heart, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So these are to perfect us in the end. Yirmiyahu 3:14-15. Yeah, go ahead.
Turn, O backsliding children, saith Yahuwah, for I am married unto you, and I will take you one of a city, and two of a family, and I will bring you to Zion.
Continue.
And I will give you, I'll give you pastors according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding.
All right, so this is the end. Oh, backsliding children. These are those of us who are in captivity. This is actually referring to us right now. He's saying that he's married unto us. He has never left us. He was there, as he said in the book of Ezekiel, as a little sanctuary among us in our captivity. And he's going to take one of us of a city and two of a family, and he will bring us to Zion. So, but before he does that, he will give us pastors to feed us with knowledge and understanding. Pastors actually mean shepherd, leaders. Okay?
Yeah.
Not the Christian pastor. Yeah. So we have to also understand that we are in one body, and different gifts come together when we are in one body. When we come together, different people with different gifts, and not only different gifts, with different negatives coming together, negatives and positives coming together, and being, as I said before, being perfected together. So we must come together in a body. So each of our gifts complement the gifts of others. So we all benefit from each other. And we go to Ephesians 4, verse 4 to 7. Of course, we're looking at why at this time we must gather together as we see the day approaching. Read, please.
There is one body and one spirit, even as ye are called in one hope of your calling.
One body and one ruach. Continue.
One master, one faith, one baptism.
Continue.
One Aluah and Father of all, who is above all, and through all, and in you all.
All right, so there is one body. This is the congregation of Aluah. That is the Apostle Shaul will call it in Galatians 5, 15 to 16, the Yasharal of Aluah. In the King James Bible, it is the Israel of God. That is the one body, the congregation of Yasharal in the end time. One body, one Ruach, one master, Yahusha HaMashiach, one emunah, one belief in Yahusha. No 2, 3, 40,000 different denominations and how many different camps now that we have building up today. None of that. It's one emunah, and that is the way, one baptism in the name of the Master, Yahusha HaMashiach. One Aluah and Father of all, who is above all, and through all, and in you all. Verse 7.
But unto every one of us is given favor according to the measure of the gift of Mashiach. Wherefore he said, when he ascended up,
11. No, go down to 11.
And he gave some apostles, and some prophets, and some evangelists, and some pastors and teachers.
All right. So here's this now. Everyone is given a different gift. And the one body is fitted with apostles, prophets, evangelists, pastors, and teachers. Okay? So this another thing now is a Christian deception. They misunderstood this. And now they say every church, they have an apostle in a church. The church has a prophet. The church has to have an evangelist. The church has to have a pastor, and the church has to have teachers. All right? This is not what it's saying. It's saying in the one body, the one body worldwide, there are apostles, there are prophets, there are evangelists, there are pastors and teachers. And pastors and teachers is one. Okay? The pastors and teachers are synonymous. Look, this is semicolon right here. Some apostles. So semicolon divides apostles from prophets. Semicolon divides prophets from evangelists. Semicolon divides pastors and teachers, puts them together as one. So this is an error that Christians make, dividing pastors and teachers. The teachers are the actual shepherd. The teachers bring the word. They are synonymous with the pastors. Christianity has snatched pastors and taken the pastors and elevated the pastors above everyone else and say the pastor is the king above all. Continue. So in the one body, he gave us the different offices and the different gifts Verse 12 tells us why.
For the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Mashiach.
So this is why we have to come together. We must come together. Not in a church, set apart assembly. For the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Hamashiach. All of this perfects us when we come together. Verse 13.
Till we all come in the unity of the faith, and of the knowledge of the Son of Aluah, unto a perfect man, and unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of Mashiach.
All right, so I'm asking now, does everyone see why we must be in an assembly?
Yes.
We must be assembled together. We cannot be perfected without the assembly.
Impossible.
Unto a perfect man, unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of Hamashiach. How can we rise up to the measure of the stature of the fullness of Hamashiach when Hamashiach never walked without his disciples? Think about it. He never left his disciples. The disciples were always with him. So we as Lone Rangers, it doesn't work. Verse 14.
It's another deception.
Yeah.
That we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro, and carried about with every wind of doctrine, by the sleight of men and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie in wait to deceive.
And this is very significant for us today. No more children tossed to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine. We see the Apostle Shaul battling this in the book of Colossians, I think Colossians 2, Galatians. Oh, ye foolish Galatians. This was why the Apostle Shaul was angry in the book of Galatians when other people came in to the assembly and started teaching things differently from what he taught them. And this is it. Tossed about with every wind of doctrine. People come in and teaching different things. This is what happens to those who are out there in the, in the online space. So many different doctrines, so many different things. And you hear something from somewhere, and then, especially for those who are like on our YouTube, you hear something from somewhere, you go somewhere else, you hear something from somewhere, then it causes a conflict, then you are carried away, then you are here for a little while. All of a sudden, you vanish. You're gone. Another doctrine has swept you away. Then after that, you're there for a while. Then you're gone again. A different doctrine has swept, taken you away. This is why we have to be gathered together in love and in unity in one accord. That you are not carried away with every wind of doctrine. By the sleight of men and cunning craftiness, whereby they lay in wait to deceive. Because many people do this on purpose, and some do it through the operation of Hasatan to actually deceive, not knowing that we are actually deceiving. Verse 15.
But speaking the truth in love, may grow up into him in all things, which is the head, even Mashiach.
Verse 16.
From whom the whole body fitly joined together and compacted by that which every joint supplieth, according to the effectual working in the measure of every part, maketh increase of the body unto the edifying of itself in love.
This is why we have to come together. The whole body fitly joined together and compacted, in which every joint, every person is important, every person supplying. This is how the true assembly should be, to the effectual working in the measure of every part. So every part joining together, working together, working effectively, helps to increase the entire body moving forward in love. Wow. Shaul has a way with words. And it's more or less the same thing. Romans 12, verse 4. Let me see if we need to go, or I can just say, you can go to Romans 12 on your own. Romans 4 or Romans 12. 4. Read please, Shamuel.
For as we have many members in one body, and all members have not the same office, so we, being many, are one body in Mashiach, and everyone members one of another.
Mm-hmm. Continue.
Having then gifts differing having then gifts differing according to the grace or favor that is given to us, whether prophecy, let us prophesy according to the proportion of faith, emunah, or ministry, let us wait on our ministering, or he that teacheth on teaching, or he that exalteth on exaltation, he that giveth, let him do it with simplicity, he that ruleth with diligence, he that showeth mercy with cheerfulness.
So it's talking about gifts here. So it's actually saying that exhortation is a gift. So those will come and exhort. So you will have a body and you'll have someone there who just actually comes and just exhorts. That is a gift. Giving, you have people who just love to give. That is also a gift. Yeah? And showing mercy is also a gift. That's it. So, continue.
Let love be without dissimulation. Abhor that which is evil. Cleave to that which is good.
Yeah.
Be kindly affection the one to another with brotherly love, in honor, preferring one another.
All right. Be kindly affection one to another with brotherly love. You cannot do this until you come together. Continue.
Not slothful in business, fervent in spirit, serving the master, rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing instant in prayer, distributing to the necessity of saints, given to hospitality.
All right. So here we go. Let me see the ones. Patient in tribulation. This is one thing. Continuing instant in prayer. Non-stop praying. And someone remind me when I'm finished to put out the prayer list that we pray so that we all can be in one accord. For those who wish to follow the prayer line, the prayer list that we have, the prayer schedule that we have. And someone remind me, please, to put it out. All right, distributing to the necessity of saints. So if the saints are in need, that is what we must do. We must be given to hospitality to receive people in our homes, etc. And then verse 14 says,
bless them which persecute you. Bless and curse not.
Barak them which persecute you, barak and curse not. Continue.
Rejoice with them that do rejoice, and weep with them that weep.
Verse 16.
Be of the same mind one toward another. Mind not hide things, but condescend to men of low estate. Be not wise in your own conceits.
Be not wise in your own conceit. So, be of the same mind one toward another. This is very, very important. If you are not in one mind, it's going to be so many problems. And if we mind high things, it's going to be a problem as well. We have to be humble in our thoughts and in our deeds, and try not to recompense evil for evil. Verse 18.
If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men.
All right, so this is just telling us how we should operate in the assembly. So what we just read, the question is, what about the modern church? Does it actually qualify with what we just said? Does it qualify? And that's what we're going to look at as we go now. The modern church? How much does it match up with this? And so we're going to look at the church deception, because let me just tell you straight out what they did. The congregation of Aluah, the assembly of Aluah, that was in the wilderness, that is what is mirrored in the New Testament. But what the Edomites did, they took the words, translated out the words, created their false Nicolaitan church system, and replaced the congregation of Yasharal, the Yasharal of Aluah, replaced it with the church. And they did this primarily through translation. Put in the word church everywhere, use the word church everywhere, till everybody believes that without a church, you have no salvation. Without a church, there is no life. Without a church, there is no hope. Everything surrounds church. And church, of course, is the Revelation 17:5 woman that is the seat of Satan, which is the Roman Catholic Church-led Christianity. Come out of her, my people. That is the Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots. So when the Apostle Shaul said this in Acts 7:38, read please.
This is he that was in the congregation in the wilderness with
All right, say church this time.
Okay. This is he that was in the church in the wilderness with the angel which spake to him in the Mount Sinai, and with our fathers who received the lively oracles to give unto us.
So this is he that was in the church in the wilderness.
Until yeah.
This word was input. If you go to what he was speaking about, Exodus 12:3 gives an example.
Speak ye unto all the congregation of Yasharal, saying, in the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers.
So this is what they call the church in the wilderness. This is what they did. This is he that was in the congregation in the wilderness. That is what 738 should have said. But they translated it out and put it in church. Because church in the New Testament is really the congregation or assembly of Yasharal. The Catholics took the Hebrew word for assembly, which is kahal, and the word for congregation, which is moed or ayad, and gave it the title church, to control and manipulate believers to follow their syncretized pagan religion, and for them to have utter and total control over the minds and the hearts and the decisions of people. So we are going to look at what they did to show an example of what they did, to show how they so stridently want to preserve the lie of church, that they will even kill people for it. So, meaning of congregation, we're going to look at the meanings of congregation, because we looked at the congregation in the wilderness. Numbers 14:5 said, then Moses and Aaron fell on their faces before all the assembly of the congregation of the children of Israel. This was the assembly or the church, as they write in New Testament, in the wilderness. It is the congregation of the children of Israel. And that congregation there is from the Hebrew edah. There are more than one meanings. In the original sense of fixture, a stated assemblage, or generally a family or crowd, assembly, company, congregation, multitude, people. So it was the collection of the people of the Most High was called the congregation. And there's another meaning for it coming from Numbers 10:3. And when they shall blow with them, all the assembly shall assemble themselves to thee at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. Congregation there is H 4150, which is Moed. And moed, of course, refers to appointment, appointed time, appointed place, a feast, a solemn assembly, a set apart assembly. So this is the congregation. It is not church. And this is what they took and replaced it with church and gave the name of the Christian organization as church to make you believe that church is in the Bible. It is the Edomites taking everything for themselves and making themselves be a part of everything that is good. It is the same thing that they did and created the people they call Jewish, the Israelis. Same thing, stealing it and changing up everything to fit their narrative. So the meaning of assembly, Numbers 14:5, then Moses and Aaron fell on their faces before all the assembly of the congregation of the children of Israel. So the meaning of assembly there is H6951, which is kahal, which means assemblage, usually assembly, company, congregation, multitude. So we see it has almost the same meaning as congregation. So as we said, church in the New Testament is really the congregation or assembly of Yasharal. So this one is doing here. So the New Covenant assembly, or the congregation in the New Covenant, is a set-apart assembly. It is not church. It is not the Christian church, as we are going to see. It is a set-apart assembly that is built on love and unity. Built on love and unity. Acts 2:44-47, we'll see the nature of the assembly, and we can see what we need to strive after. Acts 2:44. Read, please.
And all that believed were together and had all things common, and sold their possessions and goods, and parted them to all men as every man had need.
Continue.
And they, continuing daily with one accord in the
temple.
Was that okay? And they, continuing daily with one accord in the temple, and breaking bread from house to house, did eat their meat with gladness and singleness of heart, praising Aluah and having favor with all people. And Yahuwah added to the assembly or congregation daily such as should be saved.
All right, so here we go now. Let's compare. All that believed were together and had all things in common. All that believed were together. Is this what happens in Christianity? Shamuel.
Yes, bro. And all that believed were together. They were in the congregation.
All right, so I see that you are distracted. Wisdom.
Yes,
Wisdom. Yeah. I tell you that you need to pay attention.
I was distracted because someone was asking the temple there. Because you saw I also posted on the temple in 46.
Okay, we gotta go there.
All right, okay.
All right, so all that believers were together. So the people were actually together as one, and they had all things common. What does it mean to have all things common?
They shared everything they had equally amongst themselves.
So is this what happens in Christianity?
No, never.
These are things we have to strive for, to be in one. Verse 45.
And sold their possessions and goods, and parted them to all men as every man had need.
Okay, so this is the opposite in Christianity. The total opposite. You're not gonna get them to sell everything and part to everyone as they had need. Right?
Yeah. And also, if this is thrown at us, because this is where we are in the perfection, being prepared stage. How many of us, even in the way, are willing to sell everything we have and share equally amongst our brethren? This
That's the
is this is
question.
this is the mark of the high calling, and this is real. This is truth.
Yes.
Many are still amassing wealth for themselves and themselves only. They are not ready to give it up, and that shows that we have lack. We still have what? Lack. All right.
Yeah. And I know there are some people, especially a particular brother that I know
Yeah.
that is in this line, but you don't want to say anything. Let the Most High continue to Barak as he Barak, who is willing to give up everything for the assembly and everything for the Most High. And this is a trait that very few of us are willing to do, to give up everything. Yeah. Verse 46.
And they, continuing daily with one accord in the temple and breaking bread from house to house, did eat their meat with gladness and singleness of heart.
All right. So continuing daily with one accord in the temple. So what they were saying here is what happened in the temple. It showed that our belief was not very different from the belief of the other sects. This was called the Nazarene sect. It was not very much different from the belief of the other sects because they were able to continue their belief in the temple. So this was when the temple was still standing. Now the temple is not standing. There is no church because what Christians did, they set up church as a replacement for the temple. Yeah.
And so it's the same way they set up the word, and they were first called Christians in Antioch. That was
yes.
they also they slid that word in there.
They put that in.
Yeah.
And breaking bread from house to house. Most of us today have an exclusive. This is actually saying that they move from house to house, eating from house to house, together in one, as one single family, in singleness of heart. That means everyone focused on the same thing and everyone denying themselves for the other person. All were one. And they were praising Aluah and having favor with all the people. So the people saw their light shining, and the people loved them because they were in right standing. And so Yahuwah added to the assembly daily as should be saved. Daily he added to the assembly. And we have another account, Acts 4:32 to 35. And we see that this is not the assembly that we have today. None at all. Verse 32.
And the multitude of them that believed were of one heart and of one soul. And neither said any of them that aught of the things which he possessed was his own, but they had all things common.
All right, so you see this again. See this again. All things common. One heart, one soul. Verse 33.
But bro, before you jump that one, let's stay in 32 just a little longer, because this is a message I think is being hammered home. For those, all right, we are no more Christians. This is a message also to those in the way as well, all right, so that no one excludes themselves. It says, and the multitude of them that believed were of one heart and of one soul, neither said any of them that aught of the things which he possessed was his own. This is what earlier on we said, earlier on in above passages, that are you able to what? To share evenly what you have with your brothers? Because you see, bro, there are some of our brothers and our sisters that have ventured into businesses on their own again, all right? Now, when you go with that mindset to amass wealth again for yourself, it is going to be very difficult to come into this place. Because in this verse 32, you need to be working, right, with your brethren, with your brothers and sisters all together, and doing what? And sharing in everything common, what you have. So when you go out there and you work so hard with your own might, with your own strength, and you accumulate for yourselves, you're only gonna disseminate only just a little what feels suitable and good for you. In other
Yes.
words, you are still stuck in the old way. In the new way, this is what we are called to do, especially when we have heard several messages about what? About fleeing Babylon. The reason why we are fleeing Babylon is because we ought to go stand in the holy place once we see the abomination of desolation. And in the wilderness is where we begin to what? To cleave unto one another and to work together to be able to achieve the oneness or the sacred and most holy law of Yahweh, the law of consecration.
Yeah. All right. So we are verse 33.
And with great power gave the apostles witness of the resurrection of the Master Yahusha, and great grace or great favor was upon them all. Neither was there
Verse
any among
34.
them that lacked, for as many as were possessors of lands or houses sold them, and brought the prices of the things that were sold, and laid them down at the apostles' feet, and distribution was made unto every man according as he had need,
All right. So hear this now. This is going to be coming upon us because some of us are going to be gathered at different places
Yeah.
in the same time. So this is going to, of necessity, be repeated again because there will be different communities that are going to be set up by different persons who are here watching. And we have some places I've heard telling people to donate X amount, or they are selling lots or whatever in different places. This is not it. It is not to be like a business. It is to be like everyone contributing everything that they can contribute to be in one accord, in one place. So those who were possessors of land or houses sold them and brought the prices of the things that were sold and laid them down at the apostles' feet, and distribution was made unto every man according to as he had need. So it was equitable distribution among the brethren. And of course, as we say, this is not from the religion of Christianity. So what is this? And what is Christianity then? Where is the place for Christianity? Because this is the new covenant assembly of the Most High. This is not church. So how can they be telling us about church being good, church being right, and church is not in the Bible?
Yeah.
Where is the church in the Bible? Yeah?
Yeah.
But there was prophecy of the formation of the Christian church. We've looked at it several times, but for those who might be looking at it, it is in Zechariah 5, verse 5 to 11. The formation of the church was prophesied in Babylon. And how much time is gone?
We have about 2 hours, 30 minutes.
Okay. All right. So probably go to Zechariah 5. Said it several times.
Brother Pedro.
Yeah. As Brother Kazak is speaking about the word Bible, again, is the issue of the Bible. The word Bible, it's not scriptural as per se.
Yes.
These are the scriptures. The word Bible has come from, again, those who compile the scriptures, and they call it Bible, I think, meaning bibliothèque.
Yeah, biblio.
So
Biblio,
exactly. So, but what we have are the scriptures in the scriptures. I just wanted to get that point right, or if there's any better explanation, because the word Bible, biblios as it is, probably I would say that it's not biblical as per se. I would like a bit of explanation on that one.
It's not scriptural because the writings were not put together and named Bible. All right, Biblios is a name of a pagan deity as well. All right, and this is very important. In these times, we need to learn the right things and begin to do them. It's a good question, Brother Pedro just asked, because it's very important.
Yeah.
Many are still stuck in this the old wineskin with the same thing. They refuse to not want to use the right words. And so sometimes it gets difficult having to run away from Bible and use scriptures, and
Yeah.
people wonder, what is he talking about? What is he on about? So, but Pedro, yes, it is one of those things that Yahweh wants us that we should not have any mighty one's name on our tongue, on our lips. So continuing to use the word Bible obviously causes us also, it's also a stumbling block. But the simplest or easiest way is to use the scriptures. All right. The easiest is to
No,
yeah,
the
bro. Yeah.
scriptures is not accurate either because technically only the Old Testament is scripture.
Okay.
The New Testaments are writing. So I guess
Uh,
the best thing would be to use the Hebrew Sefer.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
because the New Testament is commentaries, right? On based on the old
Yes,
the laws and the yeah, okay. So yeah.
based on the
It makes
scripture of the Old Testament. Yeah.
yes.
So
All right.
Sefer would be a better thing because originally there were scrolls, and what they did, they translated the scrolls and put it into a book called the book Bible. And that's how we all say the Holy Bible
So we
as
can
well.
just
So they try everything to get us into pronouncing and speaking names of their deities. So thanks for that. I'll have to start using this the word Sefer. The only problem is there is a particular compilation book now that is called Sefer. So not to confuse with that.
deliberate, right? It's
Yeah.
very, very deliberate.
So it's a kind of obstacle course that we have to go through. That's how it is when we are in captivity. So Zechariah 5 tells us about the 5 to 11, tells us about the woman. Probably just run through it. That there was an ephah and two women in the ephah. Two women came out. Two women came out of it and went into to build a house in the land of Shinar, and Shinar is in Babylon. So the two women, the Christianity and what they call Zionism, Judaism, those who say they are Jews and are not, both of them are the children of Edom, and both of them have formed religions that actually appear to be of the Most High, but are actually in rebellion smartly to the Most High. And so the abominable church is in the book of Revelation as the seat of Satan, and those who say they are Jews and are not are shown to be the synagogue of Satan. So Zechariah 5 is about the synagogue of Satan and the seat of Satan. Now, the important thing about this abominable church, the Mystery Babylon, the mother of harlots, is that there was a man that was killed for translating the Bible. His name is William Tyndale. So his story actually tells us about church and lets us understand why church, what it is there for, and what they don't want us to know, and why they are hiding everything. Let me go. I have left my tablet. Coming up. I'm coming.
All right.
Again,
Yes, bro, you can speak.
yeah. The issue of the Bible translations, it comes with a lot of complications as well to us, because we have the Sefer that seemingly it got the names of the Father, the names of our Master Yahusha. But again, there are passages that are seemingly not right as well. So
yes.
Now we also use we also do use King James. But then when you read about King James as well, who the one that translated this, Brother Kazak is back. I don't want to take this out of context, but I think Brother Kazak can continue.
Okay.
We'll talk about it some other time.
All right. So William Tyndale and the False Christian Church. All right, let's got something off from the internet about the history of Tyndale and the church. William Tyndale was what was that, theologian, but he's also a translator, linguist, translator, and he translated the Bible into English. Back in the days when it was illegal to translate the Bible into other languages, because the Catholic Church did not want anyone to be able to read the Bible. They wanted to be able to dictate in the spirit of Nicolaitanism, because Nicolaitanism that the Messiah said he hates in Revelation, it comes from Nico and Laos, which means control of the people. What they do in Nicolaitanism, and that is what they do in churchianity, is actually control the minds of the people, keep the people in the dark. You don't need to learn anything. You don't need to hear anything. All you need to know is Christ and him crucified. That's all you need to know. Anyone coming to you with anything else, don't listen to them. They are apostate. They are heretic. Don't listen to them. So they keep you in control. They do not want you to read or understand the scriptures. So when Tyndale decided that he was going to translate the scriptures into English, caused a big problem, because he did one particular thing which they hated. Let's see. William Tyndale killed for translating Bible. The existence of the text of the scriptures available to the common person for study and discussion, unsupervised by authorities to give the official meaning, let loose a force that, according to author Benson Bobrick, made the Reformation inevitable. Once the basis for moral authority had shifted from the official views of the church to the private judgment of citizens, based on their own reading of the scriptures, people could not be counted on to back the views of the authorities automatically. The whole aim and desire of church is to get you to think like how they want you to think. It is programming. To let you think like how they want to think, like how they came with this mark of the beast thing in the arm. And the Christians just automatically, the church says, go and take it. And the Christians say, okay, and go and take it. That's it. Church is used to achieve the will of the beast, to achieve the will of the church and its linkage with the government. This is why churches are given tax-free. The government actually pays them, rewards them for existing. Yes?
Yes. Yes.
Because they provide a function of getting people to follow the narrative. And so that is why when you come up and start seeking the truth, you are attacked on every angle, because you're not only attacked by the official church, you are attacked by Hasatan, who is in control of the people who follow these churches. They don't know or understand the Ruachot, the spirits that are controlling them. So they don't want you to shift from the official narrative. So when Tyndale came and translated the Bible, the common folk were able to read the Bible and understand for themselves. No, the church does not want that. That is why you have church having a top-down system. They send someone to theological school. They have the theological schools. The only way you can lead, go to the theological school. You come up, you lead what they taught you in the schools. And then it goes down and trickles down right through. Whatever the brainwash that they give, everyone in the congregation has to obey and has to follow it. And so they keep you thinking and believing what they want you to believe. So that is why, like, for example, when I teach, I tell people I teach to give them a foundation. When you give people a foundation, then it is a beauty. The right foundation is a beauty to hear. When the truth starts reaching them, then everything becomes easy to understand. That's how, and that's the reason that I teach. And that is my motivation for teaching. Yeah. So in his 1525 translation of the Greek Textus Receptus of Erasmus William Tyndale, he was faithful to the original meaning of ecclesia. Remember, we are talking about church now. He was faithful to the original meaning of ecclesia. That is the word that they translate to mean church, which is a lie. And translated it as congregation, except for Acts 14:13 and Acts 19:37, in which it was in reference to pagan temples. Acts 14:13, Acts 19:37. He let it remain as church because it was in reference to pagan temples. So, church is really in reference to pagan temples. It is not the set apart assembly of the Most High. What they did, they gave us this pagan temple system to believe that it is the system of the Bible, of the Sefer, of the Most High, to let us believe that it is of the Most High and have us believing and worshiping in these pagan temples. Let's continue. In all other verses, he translated ecclesia as congregation. And ecclesia is a meeting, assembly, or congregation. It is a common noun. No, it is not even advisable to use ecclesia because that is Greek. That was not the original meaning either. But because they got it from the Greek, what's the Greek? Textus receptus. He got it in Greek. But the original would be kahal, with the Hebrew, or edah, or moed, or any of those. So, an ecclesia as a meeting, assembly, or congregation is a common noun, meaning that there are many assemblies. Listen to this clearly. Listen to this very, very careful, clearly, and we will understand the church deception. Ecclesia is a common noun, which means there are many ecclesias. So you have the assembly in that community, the assembly in there, many assemblies. But guess what church did? Gave us one church. Yeah. A proper noun refers to something that is unique, like the name of a country or a person's name. The word church was redefined into being a proper noun, something that could replace Israel or stand alongside Israel, the unique people of Aluah in the scriptures. You see the trick? Replacement theology.
Yes. Yes. So it's a reason why they did everything they can to scatter these children so that we don't find any aspect of any part of the world where they are gathered in order to discover the truth. That was part of the thing, because during the Inquisition, the Spanish and the Portuguese Inquisition, this was what they were doing, scattering and killing, slaying the children of the book who were still keeping the Sabbath and all that. So, because once you can find their congregation, it's easy to find exactly what the word is all about and who the Most High really is. So that's why you're going to reject his people and think that you found salvation. It's impossible, because that is what the church sought to do. So that is why the papacy calls himself what? The vicars, the mouthpiece of the earth, of the Most High. The Pope attributes himself as the mouthpiece of the Most High. In other words, the Most High only speaks through him, and what he says to the earth, everyone must do. So it's a very same thing that Christianity also adapts, which is part of its child, its baby. The denominations all come from the mother harlot.
And that's why there are so many different denominations. They give you a denomination for everything. Every desire that you have, they make sure they have a denomination for that. 40,000 at last count. So everywhere you think, they have a church to place right there as a stumbling block in your way.
Now denomination is a play on words, which is demon. All right, demon. So that's a play on words. It's like Santa, Satan. That is what they do. So you are part of demonization. You are part of a demon doctrine. All right, seductive. That's what I think 2 Timothy 2:4 Shaul was talking about.
Doctrine of demons.
Doctrine of demons, seducing spirits. So this is what the whole Christian denominations are all about. They are teaching and preaching fables, myth, wicked teachings, which is the teachings or the system or the doctrines of the Nicolaitans, as Brother Kazak explained. All
right. So let me continue. Tyndale's use of the word congregation conflicted with the Catholic Church's doctrine that the lay members and the clergy were two separate classes within the church, and the Catholic teaching of the sacrament of ordination. So what the church does, here's the difference now. What the church does is to stratify or segregate the clergy from the people. The people now are common, and the clergy are the exalted ones. And the church, other Protestant churches, have actually followed this system to the T. The pastor is exalted, and the other people are common, which is why in every church you have a platform on which most churches, churches have come to the understanding and have removed the platform. But most original churches were built having a platform on which the pastors sit and the other members of his clergy, and they are higher than the common person who is down on the ground. So that is the main difference with church and the congregation. If the true church is defined as a congregation, the common believers, then the Catholic Church's claim that the clergy were of a consecrated order different than the average Christian and that they had different functions within the church no longer held sway. In the true assembly, everyone is one, all are brethren, all are brothers. No one is elevated or exalted above the others. That is the difference with the Catholic Church. So that is how they rule, divide and rule. Divide the common people and then the exalted Catholic people who go to their seminaries and etc. to learn. It is something like the secret societies, and they are separated by what they have learned and what degrees they have raised. That is what is in Christianity. So Tyndale's translation of the word presbyteros to mean elder instead of priest also challenged the doctrines of the Catholic Church. They didn't want that. It is, as we're going to look at, is that the true assembly does not have an exalted leadership. The true assembly is run by elders, not one person, but a group of elders, 2 or more elders in each assembly. But the Catholics replace it with a priest. In particular, it undermined the Catholic Mass and its nature as a sacrifice. The role of the priest in the Catholic Church was to offer the sacrifice of Christ's body and blood in the ritual of the Mass, to bless, to conduct other religious ceremonies, to read and explain the scriptures to people, and to administer the other sacraments. In these ways, they are different from the common believers according to the Catholics. So anything that says that they are the same, the Catholics don't like it. In many reform movements, a group of elders would lead the assembly and take the place of the Catholic priest, a group of elders. So this is one thing you bear in mind wherever you are setting up your ecclesia, no one-man band. It is a group of elders, 2 or more. As the Messiah said, 2 or 3 are gathered in my name. So these elders were not a separate class from the common believers. In fact, they were usually selected from amongst them. Many reformers believed in the idea of the priesthood of all believers, which meant that every believer was in fact a priest and had, for example, the right to read and interpret scripture. That is how it should be, because it says you are a royal priesthood, a set-apart nation. Everyone has the right to read and interpret scriptures. Tyndale's translation challenged the claim of scriptural basis for Catholic clerical authority. So the authority of Catholicism was threatened by the translation of this one word, ecclesia. And that one word is the word that has been tampered with in the New Testament to give us church, and that has the whole entire world in deception. That word was ecclesia in the Greek Textus Receptus, and it was translated falsely into church instead of congregation. So the true assembly does not have exalted leadership. Churchianity gives us an exalted pastor, sometimes along with us an exalted team, clergy. The way, on the other hand, gives us more than one elders leading the flock and none lifted up above the others. That's how it is. 1 Corinthians 14:26. 1 Corinthians 14:26. So when we come together, it's unity. Everyone gives something. Everyone provides something. 1 Corinthians 14:26.
How is it then, brethren, when ye come together, every one of you hath a psalm, hath a doctrine, hath a tongue, hath a revelation, hath an interpretation? Let all things be done unto edifying.
So when we come together, everyone, it's not just the clergy or the elders who are contributing. Everyone comes together and contributes. So everything is done in twos. The principle of twos, you're looking at the principle of twos right now. Matthew 18, verse 20. The principle of twos, that is what is a hallmark of the New Testament assembly. Matthew 18, 20. Read from 19.
Again I say unto you, that if two of you shall agree on earth as touching anything that they shall ask, it shall be done for them of my Father which is in Shamayim.
Continue.
For where two or three are gathered together in my name, there I am in the midst of them.
So this is it, the principle of twos. If two of you shall agree on anything that they shall ask, it shall be done for them of my Father, which is in heaven. That's why it says, if any man sick, call on the elders, not the elder, the elders, and they shall pray for them. And the prayer shall heal them. It is the principle of twos.
Even the same thing, isn't it the same thing when a brother offends another brother and you apologize and they refuse? It says call on who? You must go call again on the elders as well.
Yes. Twos. Mark 6:7. Go ahead, please.
All right. And he called unto And he called unto him the 12, and began to send them forth by two and two, and gave them power over unclean spirits.
All right, so that's all we need. And sent them out forth by what?
2 by 2.
2 by 2. The Ruach works in twos. It works with a witness. One person bears witness to another. The thing with having two, working 2 by 2 in an assembly, which is the wisdom in it, is that one person can get corrupted and then the other person can check that person. Yeah. Where each and every person is going, there is a threat of developing what the world calls a cult. A cult of a personality where the cult is dependent on one person. One person's thoughts, one person's feelings, one person's everything. There has to be 2 or more in order to keep each and every one of the elders in check. That's just the whole principle of having more than one elders. So it will ensure that wherever you gather together, that is not about a personality or about what a person thinks. It's also going to be the scripture, because the scripture that's going to be rise at the top as being the thing that is leading. Because if there's any problem, then it's the scriptures that will have to answer the question, not what I think or what the other person thinks. It is the scriptures. So Churchianity gives us an exalted pastor, or I said that before. So the New Testament assembly is led by a group of elders. as it was in the Old Testament. Let's give the evidence in the Old Testament. There is nothing new under the sun. It has always been true. And if you look up Moses and Aaron, you'll see it how many times together. Both Moses was given the accolades, but it was Moses and Aaron who were together. Shemoth 12:43. Exodus 12:43.
And this, while you're going there, this was seen even in the lives of the Apostle Shaul, because you find Shaul and Barnabas. You find
You're letting this.
sorry
Go
for okay.
Go ahead, 43.
And Yahuwah said unto Moses and Aaron, this is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no stranger eat thereof.
Moses and Aaron, two of them, right? Same principle of tools.
Yes.
Verse 50.
Thus did all the children of Yasharal. Thus did all the children of Yasharal, as Yahuwah commanded Moses and Aaron, so did they.
All right. Moses and Aaron, a team, principle of tools. Continuing the principle of tools. 16:2. Read, please.
And the whole congregation of the children of Yasharal murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness.
All right, so they murmured against Moses and Aaron, two leaders, the two elders that were leading. The difference between the way and Christianity, Christianity puts in an exalted leader through which those who are above him to put all his instructions. The way are two leaders through whom the Most High inputs instructions together, and the Ruach HaKadosh works between both of them in unity with one another to provide for them to do the will of the Most High. So church doing the will of their leaders, not the will of the Most High, but the instructions of their leaders, and the set apart assembly instructed, two people instructed by the Ruach of the Most High. 1 Peter 5, that's why in 1 Peter 5, he said this. Read, please.
The elders which are among you I exalt, who am also an elder, and a witness of the sufferings of Mashiach, and also a partaker of the glory that shall be revealed.
Yeah, continue.
Feed the flock of Aluah which is among you, taking oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucre, but of a ready mind. Sorry.
All right, so the elders are to feed the flock. Continue.
Neither as being masters over Aluah's heritage, but being ensamples of the flock.
To the flock. All right, so hear this now. This is what Christianity gives you. Lords or masters over Aluah's heritage. All right? The pastor dominates. The pastor dictates. The pastor instructs everything that the people are to do. But the true set-apart people, the elders instruct and edify and teach and get the people to knowledge, wisdom, and understanding so that they can stand on their own, get their own understanding, build on a firm foundation. So this is why the Christians don't encourage their people to read. Don't encourage your people to study scripture. Don't encourage your people to prove all things because of control. Verse 4.
And when the chief... Oh, I thought you were going to mention the other part as well. You mentioned everything that they do, but didn't say... They don't feed the flocks, brother. They don't feed the flock.
Yes.
They only speak their mind with regards to the word, but literally feeding the hungry, the poor people amongst them, they don't. They don't share their possessions with anyone.
Yes.
But sorry there.
Go ahead.
But they feed themselves through the flock. See that? They use the flock in order to feed themselves. The flock is their servant so that they can feed themselves.
They
That's
chew.
why.
In other words, they chew the flocks.
Exactly.
Yeah, that chew the flocks for filthy lucre.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. All
Verse
right.
4.
Verse 4. And when the chief shepherd shall appear, ye shall receive a crown of glory that fadeth not away.
Yeah, verse
Likewise,
4. Yeah.
ye younger, submit yourself unto the elder. Yea, all of you be subject one to another, and be clothed with what? Humility. For
Mhm.
Aluah resisteth the proud, and giveth favor to the humble.
All right. So here's the thing that the Catholics don't like now. All of you
Yes.
be subject one to another. Remember, they believe that they should be subject to the clergy, to their administratives, their system that they set up. They don't believe in everyone subject to another, but that is the way. So the younger, submit yourselves to the elder. But everyone should submit themselves one to another. So it's all about humility, because it takes humility for an elder to subject one to another. And it takes humility for the younger to be subject to submit to the elder. Verse 6 says,
Humble yourself, therefore, under the mighty hand of Aluah, that he may exalt you in due time.
and this is the humility that the church system does not display. You don't have a pastor who is one with the people, always elevated, always pastor. Yeah. Galatians 2, 9 to 10. Looking at the elders. Galatians 2, 9 to 10. New Testament assembly and the elders. Read, please.
And when James, Cephas, and Johann, or Yahukanan, who seemed to be pillars, perceived the favor that was given unto me, they gave to me and Barnabas the right hands of fellowship, that we should go unto the heathen, and they unto the circumcision.
All right, so here we have the elders. These were the elders, the pillars in the assembly in Jerusalem. They were the group of elders. Another one, Acts 15, 36 to 41. As Shamuel was speaking about, Acts 15, 36. Read, please.
And some days after Shaul said unto Barnabas, let us go again and visit our brethren in every city where we have preached the word of Yahuwah, and see how they do.
Continue.
And Barnabas determined to take with him John, whose surname was Mark.
All right. So Barnabas wanted to take Mark, but what happened? Verse 38.
John Mark wasn't ready.
Yeah.
But Paul thought not good to take him with them, who departed from them from Pamphylia, and went not with them to the work.
All right. So Shaul is saying, this man is not ready, man. This man is too shaky. I don't want him to come with me. Verse 39.
And the contention was so sharp between them that they departed asunder one from the other. And so Barnabas took Mark and sailed unto Cyprus.
All right. And 40.
And Paul chose Silas and departed, being recommended by the brethren unto the favor of Aluah.
All right. So Shaul didn't go alone. He chose Silas because they worked in pairs. And we have a repetition, Paul and Barnabas, Paul and Silas, Shaul and Timotheus, always in company with other elders. It is the principle of twos, always two. And we have success in twos, not in one. Okay? So we are getting there near the end. So that is the composition of the true assembly for anyone who will be getting together. Different assemblies. It is not a one-man band. That one man can turn it into a cult. And before you know it, all sorts of evil, all sorts of weird things, decisions coming from that person, leading people. The Most High has put a checkmate in that he does things twos and upwards so as to have a safety to ensure that everything goes. No one person can actually dominate. So that is the true assembly of the scripture, and the true assembly, of course, guides us towards perfection. Guides us towards perfection in love, ready to meet Yahushua HaMashiach on his return. And for that, you can go to Matthew 25, 31 to, where are we? 31 to 46. Where are we? No. I got the wrong thing down at the bottom. You have something to say, Shamuel, while I change this? This needs to be changed.
I was trying to steal some food in my mouth.
All right. Anyone, El Pedro, you have anything to say? Or Brother Mahar? I haven't heard from Brother Mahar.
Not at the moment, bro.
All right. Let me take it up. Okay, so in twos, we are seeing how important it is. It says where two or three are gathered there, he is in their midst. And we are seeing the evidence of that, how important it is that for brethren to be able to work together, they need to be in what? In agreement. It's all here right before us. And this is very important, and it's a great lesson that even I myself am learning right now. Walking in twos. Yes.
When you're ready.
Yeah, walking in twos. So let's continue, to be edified, all right?
All right, so the true New Testament assembly keeps us in perfection. And I know you're soon going to be tired of this verse. Every few seasons we have a verse that we use so often. And saying, oh boy, people must be tired of seeing this. It keeps us in perfection because in Lucas 21:34, read it please, Samuel.
And take heed to yourself, lest any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, and so that they come upon you unawares.
So this is what the New Testament assembly is about, to make sure that we are not caught up in a snare. Because if we are caught up in a snare, overcharged with excess, overcharged with drunkenness and the madness of the life of this world and the lures and the traps and the deceptions of this world and the cares of this life, that day will come upon us unawares, because verse 35 says,
for as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth.
I hope we are not hearing this over and over and not letting it register. Let it register. We have to make sure that we are ready so we are not snared. Because verse 36 says,
watch ye therefore and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man.
All right, so we have to watch, and we watch by being together in fellowship, instantly in prayer, totally focused on things at hand, not being led away just by our lives and the designs and the desires of our lives. Okay? So the next one is Matityahu 25, 1 to 13, as we touch down. Matthew 25, 1 to 13. Right, read this, please. This is what gets us. You see, the parable of the 10 virgins, we know this from when we were kids.
Yes.
But this is what an assembly does. Make sure that we are always fired up. We are always focused. We are always ready. Don't worry about Brother Kazak telling us about things that, might feel at all times there's this threat hovering over you. That's what the apostles did at all times. That way you are always on your feet. always fired up, always ready, always be the 5 wise virgins who are always ready. Read verse 1, please.
Then shall the kingdom of Mayim be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. And
Yeah?
5 of them were wise, and 5 of them were foolish. They that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them, but the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps.
So the wise
While,
were prepared. The wise
yes,
were prepared and on their feet and watching and praying always, fired up at all times, ready to meet Hamashiach. Verse 5.
so they weren't distracted by anything, right?
No,
All right,
focused.
focused. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him. Then all those faces arose and
Wait,
trimmed
before
their
that,
lamps.
before that, while the bridegroom tarried. There are a lot of people who believe that what we are seeing and saying, everything must happen instantly. And if it doesn't happen instantly, hey, everybody just relax and gone back to sleep. Like the other day with the COVID thing. And then it seems that everything was being taken away. And everybody just, I'm going back to life. Then we see things shaping up in the background and we're telling people, no, they're just giving you a rest. They're coming again. And we see so many things now shaping up. We see people now seeking to get focused again. But it is the same thing when the Messiah returns. He's going to tarry. And the word says he's going to come up a moment when you don't expect.
Yes.
Okay. Continue.
It's a teaching on its own. While the bridegroom tarried, brother.
Yes.
People are this. Many of us have been distracted. Many people are gone back into slumber. That's what is currently happening. Sleeping and thinking, oh, what they are saying is actually not happening. Ah, ha, ha. There we are. Everything is back to normal. It's the very same thing, nothing new. Verse 6. And at midnight there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said unto the wise, Give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out.
No, the lamps have gone out because their lamps have burnt out because they were not recharging. Just looking at it from a standpoint, from the standpoint of an assembly. They were not assembled together, so they were not charged up and ready and fired up and anticipating the return of the Most High. They were in the world, just going through the paces, going through the rudiments, the cares of life, the drunkenness, and the surfeiting had gotten to them. And so now, when the Messiah was coming back, that was when they were trying to get ready. Well, verse 8 says,
And the foolish said unto the wise, Give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. Now, this is the first time you are going to see the righteous say no, right?
Yes. Well,
but the wise
continue.
answered, saying, Not so, lest there be not enough for us and you. But go ye rather to them that sell, and buy for yourselves.
Continue.
And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut.
So the time between the announcement that the bridegroom is coming, the little time that they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and the door was shut. So we have to be supercharged and ready at all times. Verse 11.
Afterward came also the other virgins, saying, Master, Master, open to us. But he answered and said, Verily I say unto you, I know you not. Watch therefore.
Yeah, go ahead.
Watch therefore, for ye know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man cometh.
So that's it. That is why we are in an assembly, to get prepared. We have to be prepared and fired up. That is the value of an assembly for us at this time. Revelation 3:7. And this time we are talking about the end times as we see the day approaching. Revelation 3:7. 3:7. Go ahead.
And to the angel of the church in Philadelphia write, these things saith he that is holy, he that is true, he that hath the key of David, he that openeth, and no man shutteth, and shutteth, and no man openeth. I know thy works. Behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it. For thou hast a little strength, and hast kept my word, and hast not denied my name.
Oh, so here we go now. Here's the assembly, the valley of the assembly. It gives us a little strength. It makes us keep his word, and we do not deny his name. All right? And because of that, remember the threat that we told you about these people who say they are Jews and they are not? Because of that, verse 9.
Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee.
Hold on again. El Pedro, are you saying something?
Yes, about the tearing of the bridegroom, because here is one issue with us, which we have inherited from the church system. We are expecting the bridegroom to come in our lifetime.
Yeah.
This is what happens now. We do everything because we know he's coming. But then if he delays, if he's tarrying, then we give up. But there is a little secret here where we need to apply wisdom, that we need to fill our curriculum properly with righteousness, that even if he does not come in our lifetime, at least we have kept the faith. Because when we see the tearing of the bridegroom, we start saying, okay, he's not coming. For 2,000 years, he's been coming. He's not coming. Then what? Then we just wait. When we hear the sound, then we shall join in. No, we need to be able to stand, to fill our curriculum, so that if we happen to go before he comes, at least we finished at a point of favor. Yes.
Yeah, that is resurrection of the dead. That is the hope that we look to. When we say we're looking for the Messiah to come, we have resurrection of the dead in the background, knowing that if we even pass before he comes, then in righteousness we will attain unto resurrection of the dead. So we will be at the front of the line when he returns. Yeah.
So let us be praying to be taken off this earth quickly, all right, people? Let's see who will say yes to that.
To be taken out in righteousness.
In righteousness, yes. Being obedient at all time. That's it.
But also we need to bear in mind what happened in the days of Noah. Those who received the message and repented, Yahuwah permitted that they should go so that they don't see the wrath of Yahuwah upon the world of that time.
Yes.
But anyway,
yes.
Let's see that. Hallelujah.
All right, so verse 9 tells us that you will make those who are the synagogue of Satan to worship before our feet. What verse 10 says?
Brother, who's hating on you there? You have a hater there outside.
Oh, the horn.
Yeah, the horn.
Oh.
Like, yay. Beep, 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 beep. Yeah?
Verse 10.
Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also would keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world, to try them that dwell upon the earth.
And this, of course, links with Luke 31, 21, 34 to 36. Being kept from the hour of temptation, being sharpened and ready in our different assemblies or set apart assemblies, then we stand a great chance of being kept from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world. And of course, that hour of temptation is something that we are going through right now. Verse 11.
Behold, I come quickly. Hold fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown.
Yeah, let me clarify. The hour of temptation that is hovering over us right now, not taking place, but hovering over us right now. Everything is actually assembling itself for that time when the world will be plunged into confusion and into whole lot of problems. So behold, I come quickly, hold fast that which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. So this is the assembly in which the people were ready. And he says, as Brother Mahar always say, get ready and stay ready. Stay ready. Verse 12.
Him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my Aluah, and he shall go no more out. And I will write upon him the name of my Aluah, and the name of the city of my Aluah, which is in New Jerusalem, which cometh down out of Shamayin from my Aluah. And I will write upon him my new name.
Okay.
He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith, or what the Ruach says unto the congregation.
All right. So, yeah, that is what we have for today. The Yasharal of Aluah versus the church. The Yasharal of Aluah is the end time set apart assembly of the Most High, made up of the children of Yasharal, joined together in one, all 12 tribes coming together in one, plus the Gentiles who join themselves to Yasharal. That is a set apart assembly. It is not church. Church is a system of deception given to us by the Catholics. It is a system of control, a system whereby you have a separation between the, what do you call them, the average members and the clergy. The clergy is set apart and above, and they are seen as exalted above the others. They are not one, but in our assembly, as the Messiah said, that they be one, even as we are one. Everyone is one in the assembly. There are leaders and there are rulers. As the apostle Kepha spoke, he said, those that rule, let them rule with, I don't remember what he said, but the leaders are there, but the leaders also are one with the rest of the people. So the true assembly is there to edify us, to reprove us, to rebuke us, to encourage us, to teach us, to bring us wisdom, knowledge, understanding, encouragement, everything that is good, that leads to ensure that in the end we are found blameless and without spot at the return of the Messiah. So for us at this time, in the end time, when all of this is happening, we need to find ourselves in set apart assemblies in order to perfect ourselves and to perfect one another. All right? So hope this teaching made a difference. Yeah. Let's see. El Pedro, are you there? Before you leave, we need to get a summary from you. El Pedro is gone.
Yeah.
Man.
Record time.
That's a world record. El Pedro always knows when is the exact time to leave. And then he leaves. Man. All right, Brother Mahar.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
Indeed, we know we have passed through some very difficult times as to where the deception is concerned. And I, for one, have to give thanks to the Most High that I was snatched out of that religion. And now we're looking forward to continue walking in alignment with the way of righteousness, the Yahushua Mashiach. And while we come together to attain or to reach that mark of what I am calling, we do so in love, letting the love of the Most High flow through us daily, that wherever we go, the love that is bouncing off us can be felt by someone who is even far off, because there is power in love. You know that love is when you are entangled with Yahushua Mashiach. And as long as we continue to follow the way, of truth and righteousness. The way will take us right back to Yahuwah, or Aluah, our Father. So let us be encouraged. Let we continue to allow the love to flow through us while we continue to walk in the Ruach. Because the Ruach will take us on one place, that is right back to our Father. Shalom.
Right, shalom. All right, Shamuel.
All right. And one note, I want to leave us on this note. Love goes hand in hand with submission, all right? Without submission, we cannot love. And we do not have or know what love really is without submission. So to be able to love, we need to have submitted ourselves to the word and the will of Yahuwah. Without this nature in our lives, we will not be able to do what the Most High considers love, right? As the Most High is the author of everything, so he knows what perfect love is. So when we will listen to Yahuwah and we do exactly what his word says, we end up what? Being perfected by him and by his word, all right? So the end time believers are going to have the nature of humility. In other words, they live by every word of the Most High, all right? And without denying self, the Messiah says, all right, which we ought to do. He says we ought to deny ourselves in order to be his followers. Without doing that, there is no way we can follow his examples, as he lived only to please his Father. Now we are also required to live to please the Most High Yahuwah. How are we going to do that if we don't live our lives as according to his word? All right. So Matthew 16:24 says, then said Yahushua unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his stake and follow me. So you would understand that he would have not yielded or submitted if the Messiah wasn't doing exactly or living after the word or the will of the Father. Because when he was faced with persecution, then it was easy for him to dwell his decision making on his feelings. And that wouldn't have demonstrated love. So obedience is important. In order for us to be able to demonstrate what obedience requires of us, we need to have denied ourselves and holding on and leaning on, as Proverbs 3 verse 5 says. It says, trust in Yahuwah with all your heart and lean not unto your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him and he shall direct your path. All right, so don't always linger your decision making on your feelings and emotions, because you are bound to what? To take a very biased decision, which will not be a righteous one. Okay, so 1 John 2:4, I leave you on this. He that saith, I know him, and keepeth not his commandments, is a liar, and the truth is not in him. We are right in our loving if only we do it according to what? The Father's will and the Father's word, or the Father's way. Let us be diligent even in this endeavor towards the Most High, all right? Shalom.
Shalom. All right, so are there any questions? Let me see. Someone's asking, what does he mean by M and R?
Mm-hmm.
Did someone say M and R?
Yeah, I think it was Yasharal. I was thinking Layla. Was it? I saw it earlier on.
Liar. Did someone say,
Okay.
who said M and R? Was it you, Samuel?
No, I thought it was you, because I don't remember saying M and R.
I don't know if it's Mahar she heard. I don't know.
Laya, you can speak. You can say something quickly. You can clarify on what you're trying to say.
I guess maybe she's talking Eminar faith, maybe. Eminar?
Oh,
I think it
Emunah.
is Eminar.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was just wondering what that meant. I just didn't understand when I was hearing it. Sorry about that.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Emunah. Yeah.
Emuna or Amuna is Hebrew for faith.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Strange. There are no questions out there. That means it was very clear today. All right. So, want to thank you all for watching there on YouTube. Let me see if we can get this on the radio. Let me see if we can get this on the radio so we can continue on the radio for those others. Let's hope it will hold up. Right. All right. Thank you for watching on YouTube. I want to say thanks to my co-host, Shamuel, who has been with me throughout this one. And thank you all for watching, those who are here with us and those who are out there on YouTube. We will continue here on Just a Word radio. Let me see. Yeah, we'll continue on Just a Word radio, but for YouTube people, we say Shalom. Which meeting? Okay, and of course we have our meetings on 3rd days and 5th days. We have started for those out there who are regular listeners who want to join us and be in fellowship with us. And the meeting, Yahuwah willing, will continue this 3rd day. If anyone who has not yet had the link, if you wish to join us, you can send us an email through justawordradio.com or justaword.org. Yeah, you can send us a message through those messaging portals, and then we will send you the link. All right. So until next time, thanks for watching. Please like, share, comment, subscribe if you have not. All right. Shalom, everyone.